Hello everyone, Loremaster Sotek here, back with Great Book of Grudges, my lovely co-host Nathan, and it's that time. It is time for Lorebeards. Great to see you all. Hope you all had a great week. Hope you all are staying cool in this heat if you're with those of us who have been suffering through those hot temperatures lately, or you're doing well, whatever your challenges and such may be wherever you are in the world. In any event, it's time for us to talk about all sorts of Warhammer goodness. So, before we get into that, Nathan, how are you doing? How's your week been?
Good. Non-stop news has been dropping left, right, and center, as you're aware. So it's been it's been busy. It's been really, really busy.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
yeah, can't complain. Just wish the summer would fuck off. How are you?
Much in the same boat. The kind of endless barrage of Total War news has been both a blessing and a curse. But you know, we roll with it as things happen, and I'm really enjoying a lot of stuff that we're seeing. We're starting to get into a lot of the really nitty gritty announcements and a lot of really exciting stuff, which is pretty awesome. I am really happy to just be seeing a lot of that information coming out and seeing how people react to it and what they like and don't like about it and all that jazz. But overall, doing all right. Can't complain too much.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if we had prior knowledge about certain things dropping. What was it? The Friday, which we'll talk about that little teaser later on. But like, I was already at the door. I was near this place called Ocean Villages, where all the pubs and restaurants are.
Mm.
And I get like 50 million DMs. I'm like, oh god, I gotta go back home, don't I?
Yeah, it's been kind of relentless, but also like just it's not like super predictable. It's just gonna like now I think that we've got a pace of like, okay, reveals will be for the new chaos characters will be on Tuesday. There's gonna be a teaser on Friday, at least for the foreseeable future. But like, good god, um the yeah, a lot of it's just kind of like, surprise, here it is, and you're just like, oh all right. Here we go. um all right, so let's go ahead and hop into Tale of Two Gamers goodness. We've got not too many, but a couple minis to look at that people have sent in, so we can get those up on the screen and check those out.
Let me just refresh.
Yep, make sure you've got it pulled up to most recent. All right, so first up, we've got from
Give me a
plant-based.
sec. Give me a sec.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Trying still because the screen orientation.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good.
All right, first up, we've got from Plant-Based Human. He's got Hagak, the Gut Ripper boss for the Cruel Boys. I really like the Cruel Boys models.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Quickly learning I should paint before assembling. Well, yeah, it's funny. You say that, Plant-Based Human. It's kind of an interesting debate among people that paint, what like how exactly they want to paint, or versus like, oh, do I paint my mini when they're in bits? Do I paint them after they're fully assembled? Generally, I know in my experience, I kind of try to take a look at the mini beforehand
Yeah.
and get an idea of like, am I able to reach everything when I assemble this mini? And if the answer is no, then the parts that I can't reach are the parts that I will focus on painting beforehand. But I will say that generally speaking, a lot of the time it's better to paint after you've assembled the mini, because many of the glues that we rely on, especially the ones that actually like fuse the plastic together, don't work very well if there's like primer and paint on the mini.
Yeah.
It has to be just like the bare plastic. However, you know, if you're wanting to like really be able to get to all the details, then it can be worth it to just use like regular super glue to put together the mod. Like when I assembled my black coach, the black coach, I definitely did not paint as after I fully assembled it. I painted it in like pieces, and then after it was fully painted, kind of put it all together. But I find it just kind of depends on the mini.
Yeah, I do a lot of sub-assemblies myself, but that's when I'm doing stuff like Space Marines. Because some of the weapons are just really bulky and it just covers the Aquila and all that, so it really depends. But I totally get it, especially with those ones which are like 50 million pieces. That can also be a bit of an issue. I noticed it a lot with well, the Mimidesh. It's way too many pieces, so it's just like blah. So sub-assemblies work, sub-assemblies don't work. It depends on what you paint. Um, I don't know. I do know that there's like you said, it's a hot topic. A lot of people argue about it a lot and way too much for that matter.
Yeah, just whatever makes you comfortable is all that really matters.
Yeah.
But
I do like this mini though. It's fucking cool.
yeah, it is a cool mini. And you know, paint job's coming along nicely. Definitely, if you haven't already, what I would say looking at this is overall it's looking really good. I would probably recommend thinning your paints a bit more, so like getting a little more water on your brush or in the particular paint mixture, so that some of the details are able to stand out better, especially when it comes to stuff like the fingers and the toes and stuff. But it's looking good so far. You know, just keep working on approaching those small details. But yeah, keep at it, man. Keep at it.
Mm.
Next up from Hammond, oh, he's bringing out the wah. That is definitely a sexy 3D printed Grimgor Ironhide from Total War Warhammer. And my
That's
God,
the pose he makes in the trailer, isn't it?
yeah, and he looks so much better than the original Grimgor model.
I have a soft spot for the old mini.
I have a soft spot for it while also acknowledging that it's very squished.
Yeah.
It's very squish. Just because that's just the way models were back then. And the head, the Imperial guy's head that he's got holding on to is always kind of funny looking. I don't know what it is about it that I find funny, but there's always something about it that just looked a little silly to me. But
It's freaking cool.
yeah, this mini turned out really nice, and Hammond says this is the first mini he's ever painted. This is great for a first job, dude. Fantastic for a first job.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Yeah, fucking hell.
Gitsnick turned out super nice. Like very few colors are bleeding over into each other, so like really great job on that. I like that you got his hands bloody as well as his axe. he's been getting a little messy in his smacking people around, but the colors look great. I would
really cool.
Yeah, the for the metal parts, one thing I'd recommend to get kind of that like black chainmail feel while still having it come off as metallic. A strategy I find works really well for that is like painting it a dark like I definitely like using an undercoat of black, and then what you could do from there is use like a really dark metallic to go over next very thinly, like probably like what do you think, Nathan? Maybe like lead belcher or
it's not too bad.
and one of the like the darkest silver you can find, and then what you do is go over that with Nuln Oil, and you'll have a really dark looking chainmail while still getting all that.
Yeah. It's freaking cool. I hope the old world quality is like this, essentially.
Paint scheme borrowed from Giguaz's Uniforms and Heraldry for Greenskins mod for Warhammer 2.
I'm a big fan of that mod. Is the uniforms and heraldry just basically go for all the factions and give them the true lore friendly colors. Like I believe the Reichland one actually goes for the one that we actually have in the book. Which is nicer because I'm not keen on the basic red and white one that we get.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the colors are very simple compared to what I think most of us would like.
Yeah.
when it comes to like color schemes and how it all looks and stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it's an excellent first attempt. And that
Oh yeah,
that would
fantastic.
that would literally be my only note, really, looking at the mini, is just like I'd probably use like a really dark mixture with the silver color on the chainmail to kind of give it a little bit more of a metallic feel to it. But yeah, looks great, dude. All right. Next up, Neratio sent in Molig Melonhead from the Gloomspite Gits. And Neratio's Gloomspite Gits are always like extremely colorful. He's got
it
like
looks so fun.
the most poppy Gloomspites I think I've ever seen. But they look very aggressive, which I like. The mushrooms in particular, I really like the mushroom colors he goes with.
Yeah, they pop so nicely.
Yeah, I forget what the name of these are. Like, I know this is like a lot of people know this mushroom type, where it's the straight color with the white spots. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head though.
No idea.
But those contrast colors, getting their work in. Got that contrast teal and the skin. I'm always so impressed with how like regular skin looks with contrast. Like the white, the pinkish white for the skin just looks, it's so good. Fly Monata, thank you so much. That's what it was.
I'm just a big fan of stuff that's so colorful like this. It's so nice because a lot of Warhammer is way too it's way too grimdark sometimes. So it's nice seeing like an army or some units just like really popping out there. And this you can definitely see from a mile away. It's so nice.
Yeah, it's like not only is it attention grabbing, but it's easy to see what everything is on the table, which is super nice. And I also we always love and appreciate those goblin green bases.
Always,
the classic callback. But yeah, it looks absolutely great, dude. I like that he has a big red nose for some reason. It's just very attention grabbing.
I've noticed there's it might be because Narratio might be doing the same thing. I know a lot of people do this recently. There is a clown theme going out for the Gloomspite Gits recently. I see it a lot on Twitter, and I think it's kind of nice because like you see like these clown style like squigs and goblins and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, that's fucking cool. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's a very fitting theme, and they lean into it very nicely, I think.
Yeah.
All right, next up we got Odin's. Oh, he's got Gobsprak. So this is the special character for the god damn. This is the special
Very
character
nice
for
pictures.
the oh my god, Cruel Boys. Though I love that his is on like a Nurgle themed
You can see the little
Nurgle
Nurgling.
hunting inspired Cruel Boys army. This is so good looking. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love. So look, he's kit bashed to the vulture monster, so it has a greater demon of Zinch head because he's hunting Nurgle. So it looks like he's like bound. He's bound like a greater demon of Zinch to be his mount, which is actually kind of
Really
hilarious
cool.
if you know Gobsprak's story, because that staff Gobsprak has, that is the big hand over here, that's actually the hand of a greater demon of Zinch that he blasted to pieces. And instead of it going back to the ether where it should have, Gobsprak is such a strong and willful wizard that he just wills it to stay in existence. That's so cool. That's really clever. And like, oh wow, this is a really beautiful paint job too.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Like everything looks super detailed. The Nurgle base looks incredible. I love that there's like a big Great Unclean One sword that he's balancing on. And it looks like the Great Unclean One's just melting into the ground. Just like...
Super cool.
Yeah, and Godsrack himself, that color scheme looks great. I like he's got the he's like those he's like those really nice Lord of the Ring orc color, that kind of like gray skinned orc. Looks really good, man. It looks really, really good. It's a damn good paint job and kit bash job and just everything.
Yeah.
All right, next up, from Sand Pirate, we've got his mounted noble lord Ulbricht Growl from Conquest. First character he's ever painted.
Very, very cool. Oh, that helmet's lovely.
That's a very cool mini from Conquest. I don't know what Conquest is off the top of my head.
Must be something. Let me see. Conquest. Miniatures. Is this like, I see something here, The Last Argument of Kings?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good looking mini. Like that is a nice armor set. Really, really like the lance. That's a big boy horse too.
Yeah, it looks to be this range. It looks pretty cool too. That's awesome. That's honestly pretty awesome. I like that.
Yep, and for first character, very, very good job. Really liked how the horse's armor turned out. Really liked how his armor turned out. You did some really good job on the detail work, especially on the chest plate.
Mm.
Really good job. These yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to hit your metallics with a some sort of ink or shader. It looks like you have, but like everything
does, yeah.
Everything looks very, very nice. For the back image where we get like the cape and the feathers, something you can do to really take that to the next level is edge highlights. So basically, or dry brushing even, either one would work really, really well. For the cape, you'd probably want to do edge highlights, and then for the feathers, you'd probably want to do dry brushing. But just like a similar color that's just like just a tiny bit lighter, just right around the edges, all those little raised edges. So you just get like a little bit on your brush, and you can just kind of drag it along the edges for the cape, and then for the feathers, just like get some paint on your brush, and then like really go to town on a paper towel until there's just a little bit of paint left. Like, and a good I find a good way to measure that is to like try and paint one of your fingers around your knuckle, and if you've got enough paint on the brush that it's showing up on your finger, but it's not going into the recesses of your fingers, and you can actually like see the recesses more defined, you're like, okay, that's perfect. And then you just kind of like just kind of drag it over the feathers back and forth, and it'll really add like a nice little pop to it. Yeah, it looks great, Sand Pirate. Great job. All right, next up, Jay Phoenix doing Tyrion from
Nice.
Game of Thrones. And man, these minis are always super fun, and Jay Phoenix always does like really, really clean paint job.
Yeah,
Like, damn, there are a lot of really, like, he knows how to paint faces, which knowing how to paint faces is like one of the highest forms of achievement that you can have, in my opinion.
It's really nice to have like different types of the same character, because you won't be using it for the same thing always. So I like the idea of having an armored Tyrion and then just kind of like usual getting drunk Tyrion. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks absolutely incredible. Like the edge highlighting is so good. Like, look at the axe he's holding. Look at how nice that edge highlighting is. There's like a sheen on it. There's a painted on sheen. You can tell where the lighting is on this model, which, like, damn, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. This looks really, really good. And like,
awesome. I'm a big fan of these minis. I keep looking online like I should buy a box. They're just so cool.
I would love to use this mini to play a halfling in like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Ed. Like if I ever played a halfling in a tabletop game of that, which seems like a very unlikely circumstance, but if it happened, I would absolutely use this mini. He would be perfect.
Yeah. So cool.
All right, and then we actually have an entry here from Gideon that's kind of interesting. So apparently Gideon was watching a video of yours on the Strigani and made some potential
It's cool.
like potential models using Hero Forge.
Oh man, I'm a big fan of Hero Forge. I've got like a custom thing that I've made myself recently. Um,
Caravans are clan blades, sentries, hunters, and scouts. I really like the look of these guys.
yeah, these are super cool. I like that part two section is pretty cool with the halberd spear there. It's pretty Riverborn warriors, so they've got even names down here. That's cool.
Ah, God, I wish Strigani were this fleshed out for Strigoi. That would be so interesting.
Oh, I quite like this one. The Ghoulkin Fanatics. That's awesome.
Oh my, there's more. Marshals of Strigos,
Hewers
Ghoulkin
of
fanatic.
Caden.
Oh yeah, Hewers of
I quite
Kagan,
like this. Oh, that's so
Mortain
cool.
guards. It's weird seeing a Strigani in heavy armor, but it looks really nice. Man, I honestly would not at all mind seeing Strigoi get the Strigani as like specialist units as part of their roster. Like, just because, like, right now it's, oh, okay, you take a Ghoul King and then what? You take ghouls that you would have taken anyway,
Yeah,
you know, with vampire counts. If they had the Strigani out there as something that was exclusive to running a Strigoi army, that would add so much more theming. It would actually make, you know, taking that aspect of the vampire counts a much more unique experience, which it's always kind of felt like it should be. Like, you know, it's like, oh, if you
yeah,
take Strigoi in 8th edition, you get a completely different lord who has a different model, different mount options,
yeah.
and all that stuff. And I just yeah.
Hmm. I do say this a lot. Funny enough, I said it in a video today too. That my biggest gripe with the vampire counts, especially in eighth and how it's represented in Total War, is the fact that because it's focused on eighth, it's lost a lot of identity of all the bloodlines. Where a lot of people just see the Necrarch or the Strigoi and all that. It's like, oh no, it's the same thing. It's like, no, they're supposed to be completely different playstyles, like 100%. But you never know for the future. You never know. Like CA look like they are going into different parts of different editions. So maybe in the future we'll get a nice like vampire style Champions of Chaos DLC. You know, where we just get like loads of different reskin units and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, and that's something we will definitely talk about later in today's show.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking a lot about is kind of what the Champions of Chaos has shown can be done.
Mm.
But we'll talk about that more in a little while.
Mm.
For now, we really appreciate you doing that, by the way, Gideon, because it just looks. It's very, very cool to see these kinds of ideas like brought in a visual format. I'm actually gonna like and retweet that because I really, really like that.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I need to like the rest of these. Boop and boop and boop and boop and boop and boop. Okay, but then from Headcanon, we've got a great unclean one, and
Very big boy.
I love great unclean ones. They're so cool.
You
They're
know, you know
so
what I love so
cool.
much?
Hmm.
The just because like obviously these great unclean ones are fairly new, right? Compared to the old Warhammer Fantasy ones, but it's still. I look at this and I can still see the old school 50 millimeter base Warhammer Fantasy one, you know, with all the death heads in the hand and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Well, I think a good thing to say in general for the new Greater Demons is that they're not really like new. They're just taking what's always been in the heads of the designers and
Yeah,
showing what modern technology can do to bring them to life instead
yeah,
of the old technology. Because like the old technology wasn't necessarily that like, oh, this is the ultimate form of that we want this character to look like. It was, this is the best we can do with the tools we have.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, it's definitely still bears a striking resemblance to the old stuff. It's just better.
Yeah.
But it's the same
totally.
guy, you know. But
It's just got this great feeling when you see something get updated and it looks like what it used to. It's just great. What I just don't. My comment was more of a gripe because like then you see some stuff getting updated for like Age of Sigmar from Warhammer Fantasy, which just doesn't look like it should. Cough, cough, Elfarian. Um, you know.
oh yeah. Well, it's like, you know, you have these things show up and it's like this completely crazy wild new interpretation.
Yeah.
To, you know, to match
Whereas
the universe.
this just feels. This feels classic, though. You know.
Yeah. The demons have been really really nice additions, and I think he went with my favorite version of this character in that like he's got the Rod Against Rainfather head, but
Yeah.
I really like the flail for the Great Unclean Ones. Like I know a lot of the time we get the sword version, but for me, I always think of the flail as like the ultimate Nurgle weapon. Because like it's just not a weapon you would see another greater demon wielding.
Yeah.
So I always prefer when they have the flail over the sword because it just feels more iconic.
I mean, in general, it's just it's such a good looking model, isn't it? Like, God damn.
Yep, and excellent work on the paint job. Excellent work on the. I don't know what you did with the base, but like it's got a nice little slime feel to it, which is always good.
Yeah, it looks sickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, and he got a good old guts. I like how his limbs look like bruised, or like the blood isn't flowing properly to them because of some disease that he's got. He's got a really nice gradient from that like pinkish, pink purplish limbs going back into like the overall green flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great, dude. And then next up, and this is the last one.
We do have a last minute submission too, so
okay, great. We'll refresh. From Multi McMarcus, we've got a Go Trek Gurnison mini that looks so good on just a pile of skulls. I like that he's standing on what is clearly a Tyranid skull. But hey, AOS, like I'm sure there's something that looks like Tyranids in AOS. And then he's also got he's got Krukgar and he's got a Skink Oracle. Wow, that is a really cool paint pattern on the Troglodon.
Yeah, that is just the green to gray is awesome. That's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, that's a really nice that's a really really interesting pattern for the scales. Oh, and the fin turned out super nice.
That's super super cool. I quite like that. That's even just like in general, just it is so nice to see because this model has been so good for people for like interpretation when it comes to painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good.
Yeah, and the Carnosaur also looks absolutely fantastic. I love classic Krokgar. It looks so nice. Yeah. And I like that you went with classic Grimlock as well. Really good color scheme.
So cool.
I wonder I can't tell if they used like a contrast paint and then enhanced it or what, but the gold armor looks really good. Like it's so deeply defined. The like the recesses in the black and stuff.
I think very thinned down Liberator Gold with 2 shades of thinned down Agraf Turkshade can get that quite enough look. That's what I do normally myself.
Yeah, it looks very very like that is a super pleasing gold to me. I don't know what it is about it. It looks very nice. Pretty. And then the Gotrek looks absolutely incredible. Like he just looks great. Absolutely amazing.
Anyone who's got the patience to paint orange hair, like, you know.
Yeah. But like the tattoos look fantastic and they're sticking out that really striking blue. The axe looks incredible. And the pile of skulls, I just love that. Looks absolutely incredible. And then we'll refresh our page here real quick. We got a couple of last minute people, which is totally fine.
Oh,
So
wow.
we got Commissar Zura, which I saw you in chat. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. She's, oh man, she's got the bug boys. She's got the bug boys. So the Dastari, as she dubbed them. So I love these. I love that 40k, like
Oh shit.
in so these are for Necromunda, right? I
The bugs are the riders. I think are
yeah, this is definitely a kit
admech,
bash.
right?
Yes, this is definitely a kit bash. Well, are they admech or are they? Yes, I think they are admech. I believe that's right. I see her in chat, so I will see if she'll give us some confirmation. But I love these minis. Like, one of the things I really want 40k to do, and I hope that they continue pushing it, is really show us more aliens. Like your universe is supposed to have a lot of mind-bending crazy aliens. Yeah, they're admech. So like, you know, show us that. One of my biggest complaints with 40k has always been that they have too many humans and not enough aliens, whether it's alien mounts or alien races or alien characters. Like, I just want
Alien
them.
cat boys.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know how alien those are, but that feels a little close to home. But these look great. These look absolutely great. I actually didn't
I love
realize
the
that
new
it was a kit
Necromunda
bash at
box.
first because the model looks so natural on top of the bug. Like, I thought it was just like I thought this was just the way the model printed for a minute.
It's the gun that threw me off. That was literally just it. It was the gun. But like the model just looks so cool. I'm a big fan of the new Necromunda stuff. I really need to get down and painting them though. Fuck. Like they're pretty. I just don't have the time.
Yeah, man, who has time for painting these days? Good lord.
Yeah.
Especially for us too. But yeah, Azura looks fantastic. It looks absolutely fantastic.
Holy shit! Look at this one.
And then from Gustav, he said for a competition, Gustav Wetterland, we've got a giant, and damn.
That's amazing. Huh? Like he's got his guts coming out, his big skull helmet. That's cool. The skin is lovely too, because
Yeah,
it's like
the shading on the skin is absolutely incredible.
it's like wow, that's so cool. And even like from behind, you can see so much detail.
And this
that's
reminds
so
me.
nice.
This reminds me so much of one of the Jotun creatures from the new, from the more recent God of War game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks super good. On like all the little details look absolutely incredible. Like the bone spear on its back, the big metal shield that it's got up on its protecting its neck. I love Mega Gargants. They're so good looking.
He says that he's got 2,000 points in this scheme. That is so cool, though. I love the scheme. That is just so lovely. Like even the leather looks natural, doesn't it?
Yeah, they need to release the new Yeti models so he can add them as mercenaries to this army, and just because they just look like they fit perfectly.
Yeah. That's so cool. It's honestly so cool.
Thanks for
Very
coming by,
lovely.
Azura. Good to see you. Have a good day. And then Tactical Sign coming in with a oh god, banana. What are these called again?
I call them custard creams.
I'm pretty sure that is also not their name.
No, they're custodes.
Custodes. There we go. It's like, come on, man. What's I need the real thing.
So that one model's about 700 points because custodes, but you know.
Jesus Christ. Is this a special character or is this just a regular model?
I think it's a character, right? Because like the thing is, every single custodes looks like a fucking character. They all look so cool, but like I think it is because he's got like the really big cape.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like,
Chat says this is Captain General Trajan Valorous.
fucking cool. I quite like the model. The axe is cool. Fuck
Yeah,
yeah,
the axe turned out really, really nice.
Oh, wait, it's a gun too. There's a barrel, isn't there?
So yes, so clearly, so he's Kislevite. That's what you're saying. He's got a gun axe.
It's the 40k version of Streltsy. That's awesome. I quite like that.
Yeah, I always find myself very appreciative of the Custodes models. Like I personally would never collect Custodes. They're not my like theme, but they got good looking minis, man.
Yeah, no, they're fucking awesome. You can also use them to play 30k too, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, and great job on the paint scheme. I really like that there's different shades of gold. Like, I'm not sure exactly which colors you use to achieve it, but I can definitely tell that you, like, there's an undercoat of a darker gold, but then there's a lot of edge highlights and raised details using a lighter gold, and it looks really good.
I don't have the patience for that.
Yep, painting metallics, man. That's easily like probably the number one thing I love about painting Night Haunts compared to painting Seraphon is
Yeah.
no fucking gold. um, but yeah, it looks great, dude. It looks absolutely great, and I love the way the weapon turned out, especially the
Yeah,
all the little
fucking
details
cool.
on the weapon look really really good against the darker colors you went with, and the purple axe blade with the blue highlights. That's a really interesting way to go with that, but it turned out really really nicely. Looks great.
It's very pretty.
All right, make sure there's nobody else that slipped in at the last second. Okay, we're good. So we are moving on. All right. Thank you for all those entries. We really, really appreciate that. We love checking out y'all's minis and talking about them. It's a great way for us to just see what y'all are up to. And just a heads up, just to be clear about some things, it doesn't have to be a Warhammer mini. It can literally be whatever the hell you want. We don't
Exactly.
care. We're not endorsed by GW. We don't give a crap. Um, and then though GW, I mean, if you want to pay us money to do stuff,
I mean,
but and it also doesn't have to necessarily be finished. Like if you just want to like post like works in progress and stuff like that, go for it.
even just like kit bashes that you're just working on, like
Yeah,
we're keen on that.
yeah, we would love to see y'all's works in progress as well as completed pieces. So don't feel like it's like, oh, I didn't finish it, so I can't submit anything this week. Now you can just do whatever, dude. And if you did purely on Discord, then we will catch you next week because I did not go through digging through that. That's my bad. But it's okay. We'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
All right. So next up on the agenda is we're gonna go straight into our who would win for today. So I was hunting through the who would win arena on my Discord, and I saw a matchup that caught my attention because I was like, you know, that is actually kind of an interesting showdown. So the fight we're going to do today is we're going to put up the newly revealed, and we'll talk about more later, Demon Prince Azazel, the Prince of Damnation and right hand of Slanesh, versus versus Malice Darkblade, the scion of Hag Grief, and overall biggest emo that exists in all of Warhammer Fantasy. Very edgy. He's so edgy that he hurts himself constantly, and is of course possessed by a keeper of secrets, a greater demon of Slanesh, by the name of Zarkan. So we're gonna put these two people against one another, and have them throw down after we talk about them a little bit, and then once we've kind of gotten all the details sussed out, you know, we'll put up a poll and see what y'all think. So, Nathan, do you wanna talk about Azazel for a minute?
My baby, yeah. Okay. So, Azazel is quite old. I mean, you can compare him to a lot of characters in Chaos, but he's been around for a while, considering the fact that he is, at least because he's been changed a while, a Umbarog, and he's actually from the same tribe as Sigmar Heldenhammer. Their families knew each other for a while. In fact, Sigmar was to be wed with Azazel's sister, who I can't remember her name at the moment. So there's a long family tie. He was pretty odd in the books, kind of jealous the fact that he was kind of sickly for a time, so he couldn't fight in a specific war which saw his twin brother killed. He blames Sigmar for it. There was a lot of weird time where you know how easy it is to get corrupted when you start getting a little bit angry, to the point that he tried to kill Sigmar, killed his sister in the process.
Ravenna was his sister.
Ravenna,
and Sigmar's only love.
Mm-hmm. And He did try to kill Ravenna. The problem was, sorry, tried to kill Sigma. The problem is that Ravenna was caught in the crossfire. But our good boy over here, which I believe his mortal name was Garyon,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, his mind had already started to be a little bit twisted and blamed Sigma for the fact that his sister's dead. After that, he did have to flee because obviously something like that would see you slaughtered and murdered and, cut into pieces and shit like that.
As you do. Yep.
And yeah, the natural thing for Warhammer, fled north and found himself at home with the Norsey, which is the name of the Norskins, which a lot of people don't tend to know generally because it doesn't really get referenced as much nowadays. Kind of lived his good life and eventually started getting more and more corrupted. Fought a Chaos Champion of Khorne, and that's where he did get the attention of Slaanesh, which is why we see him in his, well, let's just say, spankable version that we know now.
Yeah, he defeated a Khornate champion of equal skill and power named Arthur.
Mm.
And that earned...
bad name.
Yeah, I know. But it's Arthar. It's not Arthur, it's Arthar with an A. But yep, defeated him in equal combat and also crushed his army and ascended to Demon Princehood.
Yeah.
And Azazel is a pretty interesting demon prince as far as they go.
Yeah. His influence can pretty much destroy the will of even the most pious of followers of Ulrich, even Bretonnians too, where he's had Ulrichians drop down like dogs and just kind of bark and shit. The Bretonnian in question went to challenge Azazel, and with just a simple gaze, just kneeled, which it shows that because I know a lot of people are looking at the character, it's like, oh, it's not as beautiful as you think, but it's the whole thing of like how like in real mythology we look at a siren who might not be beautiful or too beautiful, but it's the presence which can completely destroy the will of man, and I think it's really well represented with his character. This is an absolute fucking badass, let's be honest.
Yeah, and something that I like a lot about Azazel, and like all Slaanesh characters are achingly beautiful, even though you might look at it and you go, I don't see it. Well, yeah, that's because you're not there in person and you're not experiencing all the things that they do to your mind and kind of warp reality to, like, you would not, with the exception of Sigvald, because he's mortal, he's not a demon. Like, if you encounter Nakari or Azazel, they're not gonna look like what they actually look like until you are already way too close.
Yeah.
You are already totally boned, and it might also be totally boned, but either way you're gonna end up dead. And one of the things that's really, really interesting about them is that Azazel, which this might kind of surprise people based on kind of the ways they've been talked about, but Azazel is genuinely the embodiment of lust among the Slaaneshi characters. Like Nakari, although Nakari is known as the Arch Tempter, Nakari is much more about just the aspect of like sensation itself. And if anything, I would argue that Nakari is more about like greed, or greed is probably the best way to describe him. But he's more about constantly seeking out and pursuing new experiences. Whereas Azazel is genuinely the lust character. He's the character that is worshipped as a god in his own right, and Slaanesh is totally okay with that. And he is genuinely Slaanesh's right hand. He is considered like the ultimate general of Slaanesh's legions. And he's quite capable. He's got those giant angelic wings, and Azazel is very dexterous, as you might expect for a Slaanesh champion, but he is freakishly fast, both at flying.
Flexible too.
Yep, sure. What those wings do, though. But those angelic wings get him around the place pretty quick. He's very, very skilled combatant, terrifyingly strong and fast. He's got the demon sword, which I know does not sound very appropriately named, because you're like, all right, I get it, it's a demon sword, but what's its name? And nope, that's what it's called. Welcome to 5th edition. Yeah. A lot of item names were just very generic. But the demon sword, it is it's essentially a living weapon. So it has the ability to very much alter its course and trajectory mid-strike so that it kind of worms its way around defenses, which makes it a pretty nasty piece of work that you really don't want to deal with. It's literally just going to slip through armor. It doesn't even care. It will find a way to get through your armor unless you are working with some really, really powerful magical goodies. Also, Azazel is a wizard. You know, he can cast magic. He's very adept in the lore of Slaanesh. He's pretty decent caster. And then he's got, and Nathan mentioned he's got what's known as his Temptator rule, which is the whole thing that a lot of people get hypnotized pretty much the second they lay eyes on Azazel or hear his voice or witness his glory, and their will just breaks. To put into perspective how broken Azazel was, so there's always been rules that have existed as far as like tempting someone with Slaanesh. It's generally represented as like a penalty to attack them, or maybe you lose an attack, or maybe your leadership gets reduced a little bit or something like that. No. Azazel is so tempting that you would have to roll dice for a model or a character or whatever, and if they failed, Azazel just took them from you. Like Azazel, they full on would switch factions. They would leave your control and become part of the Slaanesh players' army, and there was nothing you could do to get them back. They were gone forever. Which, like, holy shit, what? It's so overpowered. So that's how you know people were thirsted for this demon like nobody's business. When they're just like, yeah, nah, fuck that. I'm on team Azazel now because I failed my leadership check.
He was quite popular back in the day. The only problem is that that was the day before people started usually pinning stuff, and the wings would fall off easily, and the tail was a bastard to deal with in the normal.
Yeah. But furthermore, as far as combat prowess goes, Azazel has some very, very useful mutations. He's got that big crab claw for one of his hands, which, as Slaanesh likes to do, those crab claws tear through armor and clothing like nobody's business. Insanely armor piercing and hit like a truck. He also, as you may have noticed in his trailers, has a twin-headed serpent tail that actively attacks people and distracts them, which makes it's mostly used as like a parrying or distraction weapon. You would so it can be very, very annoying and good at messing with. And then he's scary. He's got wings. He's got, he is a demon, so he kind of like fades in and out of reality. So he can be kind of hard to hit. Doesn't have any armor to speak of. He relies entirely on his demonic nature and his just skill in battle to protect himself. But yeah.
Well, he'd have natural armor anyway because scaly skin and stuff,
Yeah. But he's not like heavy armor by any means.
Oh, no. Light at the very best.
Yep. So moving on, in the other corner, weighing probably more, surprisingly, is Malice Darkblade, everybody's favorite edgelord of Warhammer Fantasy, a man or an elf who is in so much constant pain and argument with himself that he even makes Malekith look like fairly well adjusted. So Malice Darkblade has an entire sexology of books dedicated to him, though technically 7 books if you also include his End Times novel. On top of showing up in numerous White Dwarf articles and even some short stories, he's a character that we see a lot of. Of course, we're going to be taking him in kind of his tabletop / Total War iteration. So the only one of the artifacts that he's going to be wielding from his saga is the Warp Sword of Cain, which the Warp Sword of Cain is one of the fabled treasures that he acquired as part of his bargain with Zarkan. Because when Malice Darkblade got possessed by Zarkan, Zarkan told him, I'm going to eat your soul. And Malice said, don't. And Zarkan said, okay, tell you what, if you go get these 5 sacred, powerful artifacts for me, once you acquire them, that will allow me to do something powerful, and I will leave your body without killing you. And that's why Malice Darkblade does all the shit that he does. But the Warp Sword of Cain is a very, very nasty weapon. It is kind of like you can kind of think of it as like baby's first Widowmaker.
Yeah.
It does not give a damn about your armor. It's going to cut through it like butter. Granted, Azazel doesn't have much in the way of armor, so that doesn't matter too much. But it thirsts for blood, like you might expect from Cain. It desires murder big time. And the Warp Sword of Cain will go out of its way in an attempt to, upon landing a blow upon an enemy, really dig in deep to get at the good stuff underneath. It is a weapon that is not easily turned aside by someone's hide or toughness. It's gonna find a way. Beyond that, of course, Malice does ride his ever faithful steed Spite, that the Total War community frenziedly likes to try and remind CA is actually smaller than an average Cold One, not larger. But he is a very clever Cold One, which is very unusual. Cold Ones are notoriously stupid creatures, but not Spite. Spite is actually very intelligent for one of his kind, and he is ferocious. Spite is genuinely probably one of the scariest Cold Ones that we know of. Actually, I would say he is the scariest Cold One we know of, because it is not only a pissy, angry dinosaur, but it's got a temper that makes regular Cold Ones look timid. And he's also armored. So Malice Darkblade is actually a very, very tanky character from like an armor perspective. He doesn't wear magical armor, but between his own heavy plating, and then he rides on Spite, who also is plated, he's, what you would expect for someone that's leading like Cold One cavalry. He's essentially the Dark Elves equivalent to a very, very heavy knight. And definitely works well on that. And then, of course, the last thing worth talking about, and probably the most important thing, is Zarkan. So Malice Darkblade became possessed by Zarkan, who is not just any demon. He is a greater demon of Slaanesh, but he's not just a greater demon of Slaanesh or a keeper of secrets. Zarkan is actually a huge nuisance. He is one of the more powerful keeper of secrets that we know of, and that Zarkan actually successfully led an invasion of Nagaroth hundreds, if not thousands of years before he met Malice. He actually took, if you're familiar with Archaon Saga, or have played Total War Warhammer 3, there is a place in Nagaroth known as the Altar of Ultimate Darkness. And it's this really, really, really powerful ritual space and sacred site that has a lot of importance to chaos. But it technically falls into the domain of the Dark Elves, and the Dark Elves like to push chaos out of it and claim it for themselves because it has a lot of dark magic that they can utilize. During Archaon Saga, that's where he found the first of the 6 treasures of the Everchosen, which was the Mark of Chaos Undivided on his forehead. But the Altar of Ultimate Darkness actually fell to Zarkan for a good while. Zarkan gathered a huge army of demons and actually fought his way south out of the Realm of Chaos into Nagaroth and beat the Dark Elves to take the altar. And then once he took the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, he opened a rift to the Realm of Chaos itself, and demons were just pouring out, attacking the Dark Elves everywhere. And it got so bad that the Dark Elves Malekith finally got pissed enough to lead an assault, and they pushed out Zarkan, which eventually led to his whole imprisonment by the Dark Elves. But he is a beastly greater demon. So when he got sealed away, he was not super thrilled about that, but he was accidentally released by Malice Darkblade and proceeded to possess the Dark Elf instead of being banished back to the Realm of Chaos. And the two of them have a let's just say a toxic relationship with one another. Malice is very, very unfond of Zarkan, despite the fact that he gets a massive power boost from Zarkan, and Zarkan also really does not like not being in control and basically being imprisoned within his flesh. But at the same time, he doesn't want to be banished back to the Realm of Chaos. He wants to actually take over Malice's body. So the two of them have a dysfunctional, functional relationship that often revolves on that when shit hits the fan, Zarkan will possess or fully allow his power to be utilized by Malice, which makes Malice a hell of a totally different story. Much, much more threatening individual to go up against. He fully steps up another level in power. So that's the matchup. I'm going to go ahead and get the poll started now. Who would win, chat?
You can't put Azazel as a fucking poll thing. It says content does not meet guidelines. The same thing when I try to start fucking...
So, fun fact, Azazel is a banned term or banned word parts of, on Twitch. So instead of Azazel, we're gonna say Prince of Damnation. I bet we can get away with that. And then Malice Darkblade. Yeah, I noticed that as well. During a stream talked about that. Oh, somebody else already got it up. Okay. All right, chat, go vote. Who do you think would win? Demon Prince Azazel or Malice Darkblade? And while chat is voting, Nathan, what do you think?
It's tough. It's tough. Because, well, it's a good matchup. The fact is, Malice is very, very strong, especially with Zarkan defending him. There's obviously a lot of plot armor that we've seen throughout all the Malice books.
Main character syndrome.
I mean, there's certain things that he should have died from in a lot of those books. Same thing with the Screaming Godchild novel too, the comic.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Azazel, mainly because Azazel does have air superiority. He should be able to fly around and should be able to just be quick and strike very fast. It depends on how early Malice channels into Zarkan, though. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it could be the fact that Zarkan could see Azazel as a potential ally to have him released proper. Because you could see that happening. It depends on what part of the canon you look at. I don't know. I don't know. I think superiority in air and speed is going to be the main thing there.
Yeah, and I mean, Azazel also does bring magic to the table, which Malice does not have like a directly easy way to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, air superiority, you know, so being able to choose like position and engagement, also being extremely fast, and magic, that's nothing to sneeze at. Those are pretty notable powers. So I could definitely see the argument there. I, of course, as always, am going to be on the other side of the fence. I think Malice Darkblade could actually pull it in, because I will say that one thing that Azazel, I think will actually work against Azazel is that Azazel is arrogant as shit. He is like, you know, he full on believes that he is Slaaneish's second in command, and he has a lot of pride in his ability to be this demigod to be worshipped. And I think that while Malice himself would probably initially be affected by that hypnotism of Azazel, I don't think Zarkan would be affected at all in the slightest. And I think Zarkan, if anyone, Zarkan would probably see Azazel as, I'm gonna beat this lad, because like Slaanesh characters hate each other because they're all jealous of each other. Everybody wants to be daddy's favorite child, and they get super jealous of each other and are always constantly trying to one up one another. And I think Zarkan would absolutely try and manipulate both Malice and Azazel into getting Azazel close enough for Zarkan to take over and just go ham on him. And while Azazel is a very, very good fighter, a lot of his strongest components being that, you know, it's like, oh, he's got a really powerful weapon and he's really, really fast. It's like, yeah, but Malice is a dark elf, and elves are also freakishly fast. And when you take a dark elf that's already fast as hell and empower it with a greater demon of Slaanesh to make it even faster, I think Azazel would actually find himself in a surprising amount of trouble. Though, yeah, that air superiority is a big thing. Spite, I think, will definitely even the speed game. So it kind of leaves Azazel just with his magic and his ability to really like choose the engagement. But I do think that in my head, the way I think I would actually see it going down is the two of them would start fighting and Malice would just be struggling. Like Malice would be getting his ass kicked. And, you know, probably Spite would get killed. There would be magic flying around. And then Azazel, thinking that he had broken Malice, thinking he had beaten him, would go in to start playing with his food. And the second he did that, Zarkan would take over and leap at him. And that the Warp Sword of Cain can absolutely kill Azazel or banish him back to the realm of chaos. So I honestly think that Zarkan, as long as he played his cards right, I think he would get Azazel close enough, thinking that he was good, to take over, and that'd be game over.
Counter argument. Zarkan's not had it in a while. Azazel has a lot of appendages, including the snakes.
Malice is like, yeah, they go to fight, and it ends up not being, the who would win gets completely subverted. And it just turns into something, and it's like, we can't show this. But yeah. So my chat went 51% for Malice Darkblade and 49% for Azazel. That was actually very close.
I have 71% for Azazel.
All right. So definitely,
boys.
So the Great Book of Grudges community feels far more confident in their view on this battle than the Sotek community, but nonetheless, that's another one for the books. Okay, moving on. AOS time. Cool. So let's talk about some Age of Sigmar goodies. So real quick, before we get into the actual juicy component of today, or the AOS stuff, I do want to talk briefly about the new Bellicor minis, because I really like these guys. I really like these guys.
I think they're quite nice. Let me see if I can find the freaking thingy.
Here, I can send you a link real quick.
There we go. No, I found it.
Got it. Okay. But they're a very interesting design. I'm kind of, when I looked at them at first, I wasn't certain. But like, they're just a very interesting design for the Warriors of Chaos. Like, when I made a video about them, I had some people talking about and being like, oh, they're like blah, blah, blah. Like a lot of people were super critical, but I don't know, I really like the way they look. I think they have a very, like, they're kind of big bad guy. The dude with the full helmet definitely looks like a classic Warrior of Chaos, though the lacquer armor is very unique for warriors. Like, I'm not used to seeing warriors using heavy armor that isn't metal.
Yeah, no, they've definitely gone for a completely different design. I'm quite keen, mostly because it's so drastically different to what we've normally seen. Like, they look like gladiators. Like, one of them, and I said it on a tweet, one of them just gives me this like this Nipponese vibe from it, right?
Yeah, I blame you for that statement, because you said that. So many people in my I was like, yeah, I agree with Nathan that, you know, some of the armor design kind of does remind me, because I saw those pictures you posted, and I was like, yeah, like, I definitely see it. And so so many of the people in the comments are like, that doesn't look Japanese at all. That looks like da 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 da. And it's like, God, historical people. Ugh.
Dude, I was so sure, and I think I think it is like a little bit of a hint, because we do have loads of different cultures in Age of Sigmar too. Like, people seem to forget that, you know. I was so sure that I even went out on a tweet and tagged Graham Davis on it. As like, you worked on some Nippon stuff back in the day. Anything? Can you shed any light?
Did he immediately respond, what do you think?
No, he replied, it's like, he said it was like, oh no, this is something after my time. It's like, oh, it's a shame. Because, like, obviously, when we look at stuff in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay now, especially in 4th edition, there's a lot of throwbacks to his work.
Oh yeah,
so I was thinking,
dude, they've been doing such a good job of updating older stuff into the modern world.
By far. By freaking far.
You know, they're not beastmen, chat. There's one guy who's heavily mutated. So this guy has like he has cloven hooves as a mutation. Looks like he's also got like fangs, but he's just a mutated dude.
There's something about this. Like, I really hope that these are, because like, I've always had this theory that a lot of New Age of Sigmar stuff is going to be backward transferable, and I would love to have this as like a really heavily armored Marauder squad, right?
Oh yeah, well yeah, no, these guys would make excellent Chaos Marauder. I even think you could use these as warriors, honestly, just like from like a different culture. But I love the way they look. Like, they're probably my favorite or my second favorite Warcry warband, because a lot of the Warcry warbands are very like maraudery, like they're very like very, very little armor. Even if they do wear armor, it's like very crazy and bizarre and kind of just all over the place. This is the first one I've seen in a hot minute that is like, oh no, these are armored boys.
So cool. It's just so fucking cool. I'm a big fan. I'm honestly such a big fan.
Yeah. I'm definitely thinking about picking up a box of these. And of course, they also, if you scroll down, if you're on that page, they're coming out with their big boss, the Centaurian, who is a four-legged, four-armed Chaos Centauroid, he is just crazy looking.
I'm not too much of a fan of him, mostly because, well, I think it's familiarity where, you know, we have centaurs and centaurs. They're two completely different things, right?
Yeah, and and like you can tell he's clearly not a regular centaur because he's got too many arms.
Yeah.
But I do really, really like his design. I very much like that he kind of seems to be a unique like kind of one of a unique species, so to speak, that worships Be'lakor. These Centaurian marshals.
Imagine how sad you have to be to worship Be'lakor.
You just gotta be it's not about being sad. It's about, you know, you just like being with the underdog. You just like the underdog faction. Either that or you're on team dad. You're just like, listen, I don't know, like he was here first and I think we should respect that. And but
it's still cool though. Like in general, they're fleshing out all the stuff because like Be'lakor I haven't read out too much into AOS, so maybe you can shed some light. He's up to his usual shenanigans, right? He still wants to be a god.
So right now I think his long-term goal would to be a god, but right now he's trying to find a way to kill Archaon is kind of his big motivation right now.
I'd do that too.
Yeah, is that he is his most recent ploy was that he played a major role leading us into the new edition. He probably played one of the biggest roles leading us into the new edition. And he basically his goal was to corrupt an entire mortal realm and kill a ton of people to prove to the dark gods that he was doing a better job than Archaon was, so they should take their blessings from Archaon and give them to him instead, so that he could then go kill Archaon. But of course, being Be'lakor, he fails at the 11th hour, like he always does. And
fucking Pokemon villain.
Yeah, to be fair though, he was only stopped by a literal god getting involved, being Grugni, returning from exile or self-imposed exile to stop him. But and he did mostly succeed. He did kill a shitload of people. He did permanently kill and wipe out an entire storm host and of Stormcast, and he also permanently killed one of the few Stormcast characters I actually really, really liked, which was a huge bummer. But yeah, he's been a busy boy, and he also corrupted pretty much all of the realms except for Azir with a new like cloud of dark chaosy nastiness that prevents Stormcast Eternals from being as easily immortal as they used to be, and has made 3rd edition a lot more interesting. So thank you, Be'lakor, for being a goofy little shit. He's getting work done. But yeah,
it's not too bad.
All right, so speaking of Be'lakor and his servants, let's talk about Bellacor's new big bad. Because Be'lakor actually has his own personal champion now. Well, now, by now I mean December.
Oh, the leak, right?
Yes, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah. So it looks cool. I'm a big fan. When I saw the picture, I was like, this is easily now going to be, like, if I can fit him on the base, like, he's going to be my my Chaos Lord on a demonic mount, because He's fucking awesome. Like
Yeah, I believe this
you,
is Eternus, if I remember right.
something like that.
He's like,
Yeah,
I think his name is like Eternus Blade of the First Prince or something.
yeah. I mean, he's definitely cool. Um, we have to get some backstory on him because we know nothing just yet, unless they gave like the whole thing. Because the only leak I have is obviously that little
No,
image.
the only leaks we've seen are these images that we're looking at now are new images, but they're clearer versions of old images we've seen.
Yeah.
Um, and the only other thing we've seen is basically like the glossary page, which has this
Mm.
guy's name. But I love this mini. I
Yeah.
love this mini. Like that mount is so badass.
Oh yeah, it's freaking cool. It is like I've got we've got someone's just said here a theory. It's like, what if he's a chaos corrupted stormcast? Like that
That's
will happen at one point,
yeah.
right?
There's someone in my community who added me with a tinfoil hat theory that said that they think he is the Stormcast character that Be'lakor executes during the mortal the storyline leading us into third
Yeah.
edition. Which if that's true, that's awesome, but is also gonna break my heart because that character does not deserve that. He was such a good man. He was like one of the best written Stormcast characters. For him to get killed and then turned into this would be so awesome, but so brutal at the same time. Because
The
not
only thing
even
I would be against is like the whole idea is I don't like the idea of Chaos Stormcast, because then that's way too much 40k seeping into Age of Sigmar. You know what I mean?
yeah, it would have to be an unwilling transformation. I
Mm.
think it would have to be like not that he like changed sides and took on chaos, but that Be'lakor like found a way to completely corrupt him and permanently turn him into an other.
Mm.
Because like
I don't
we
know.
have evil Stormcasts, but they're not chaos worshipping. An evil Stormcast is a Stormcast that can't tell the difference between like chaos and just normal life anymore. So like they see a sick person and they're like, oh, that's Nurgle, and they just start murdering sick people. Which is
Yeah,
basically the Celestial Vindicators.
but that's again a little bit too much 40k for my liking. That's a bit of an issue that I have where I don't like overlap. I want the universe to be its own great thing in its own right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, are we really having a we don't want them to be 240k discussion about Stormcasts?
No, no, because by itself, I quite liked the Stormcast, especially now in third edition. They're a bit more human. Does
Yes.
that make sense?
Yes.
So, like, now that they've done really well with it, don't fuck it up again. That's my only fear, you know?
Yeah, no, I do think the Stormcasts are consistently moving in a good direction. Like original Stormcasts were literally just Space Marines with no downsides whatsoever. And then in second edition, we started getting the automaton guys among the Stormcasts, and then in third edition, they're like, okay, let's actually make them like significantly more human.
Yeah,
And give us a lot of the characters from the novels as actual playable characters. And everyone was like, oh, that's nice.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm really curious to learn about Turnus. Because
yeah.
it could be that particular Stormcast character. That would be a hell of a blow, honestly, to the Stormcast. Because there has not been a playable Stormcast who got like corrupted or mind controlled or whatever we're gonna call it. Like we've had some Stormcast permanently die, and we've had a Stormcast turned into like an undead champion by Nagash, but he got turned back to being a Stormcast in the same book. So that would definitely be a first, but it also could just be a guy that like really fucking hates Archaon for some reason, or maybe just really likes Be'lakor for some reason. It'll be interesting to see. You know what could be cool is if I wonder it'd be kind of cool if he was maybe a reference to I can't remember his name, but do you remember the Chaos Champion that Be'lakor possessed during the Mordheim crisis?
Oh shit. Oh my god. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it'd be kind of cool if he has like some kind of reference to that as part of his
That
character.
would be cool. Yeah, that I would be really keen on. Yeah. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Now,
but
somewhere
there's
someone at GW is watching this and scribbling
yeah,
it down.
write that
We've
down.
got to reprint the book.
Yeah. Hey, they got 5 more months. But yeah, this is like one of the earliest leaks we've seen. Though I gotta be honest though, I I really am starting to think that GW is like purposefully leaking a lot of stuff because like it's always the exact same images and they're always the exact same level of potato cam, and it's like how, like in this day and age, right? How are you getting those potato level quality pictures? They have to be
I don't
deliberate.
know.
They have to be
Thing
deliberate.
is, I heard a rumor, and obviously this is just a rumor, but like people were talking about like the GW program, like for content creators being like refreshed again because they were tired of leaks and stuff. It could be someone doing something quite maliciously. It could be someone just trying to get some non-existent clout because if your name's not on it, you're not getting clout. You're just being anonymous, aren't you?
Yeah.
Um, I know that GW would be keen on doing some sort of leaks every now and then because let's be honest, it's good for the thing. But like this book has been leaking for a while and it's not due until December, you know? Like it's a bit odd.
Yeah, I just like whenever, like the only times I tend to believe it's a real leak is when they leak stuff like points or like rules. Those
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's legit. Like somebody took a picture of that, and they're usually good quality pictures. But like when it's literally just pictures of models and not any like the good nitty gritty stuff, like I'm
Mm.
like, I don't know. This seems like a corporate ploy.
It's weird. Like, yeah, do you remember the 40K leaks for the Tyranid book? Someone just literally got the book. I don't know which influencer this was,
Oh, dude,
but apparently he
it
was
wasn't
caught.
just the Tyranids. There were like 2 or 3 books that the entire book leaked before
Yeah,
it came
yeah.
out.
Someone just literally wrote it all down in a word pad and
Which, like,
there it
god
goes.
damn, that is an intense level of cynicism slash like bastardism from that particular person.
Yeah, no, because like for lot of people who don't know, usually when you're in some sort of content creator program and someone leaks, generally everyone gets punished,
Hmm.
and because they don't know who it was, and it's a bit of a shame. But like, I know some people were happy about the Tyranid leak because that made people rebuy armies and shit, which obviously worked in GW's favor. But like, the problem is that that could have been an early book because I know it
Oh
happened to
yeah.
the Space Marine one, and it was an early book which was unbalanced at that point. It was just like testing phase, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, look at this! Look at this!" It's like, bro, just chill, you know?
Yeah. Well, plus, like, I don't know, rules. I think it's fine to look at rules and be like, oh, that's interesting, or like, oh, I could make some good lists with that. But I always like get kind of worried about the people that are like, I'm gonna buy like 1 million of this because look at how good the rules are. It's like you realize that could change at any time, right?
Yeah.
Like rules change all the time. Um, but I don't know. Anyway, but like yeah, I mean AOS stuff is looking pretty hype. Looking pretty interesting. There should be a new AOS faction being revealed here pretty soon. I think we just got. Oh god, who just came out? Ooh, I'm pretty sure it's a destruction book next. So I'm thinking it's gonna be Gloomspite Gets is the next book.
We're still waiting for the fucking Chaos
Skaven,
Dwarfs.
Skaven and Sylvaneth just came out. So Wood Elves and Skaven were just very recently released, and the new Skaven book is really kick ass. I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of people enjoying it, but we know for a fact that the next book I believe is Destruction. So it's either going to be Ogres or Gloomspite Gets. My money is on Gloomspite Gets because they desperately need a new book, but we'll have to see. And then we know the Dawnbringer Crusade slash New Age of the new Cities of Sigmar book is coming out.
Yeah, but they said that's not going to be a while, so I think that's going to be like a year or two. It's going to be very similar to that bullshit of what they did with the Sisters of Battle, where it's like, oh, we'll show you
Yeah,
stuff every now
yeah,
and then
we'll show you
nothing.
something every like yeah us old worlders. Listen, I feel like Sisters of Battle got more consistent updates than us old worlders are getting these days. We're just in there like,
Mhm.
please, more map. Like I'm not even asking for models, just more map.
It's super weird. This is something I don't like about G Dubs, It's like, for example, they did another article this week on the horns of Ashut, right?
Yeah.
And they say, oh yeah, the Chaos
Yeah,
Dwarden,
it's
Chaos
practically a
Dwarden.
Chaos Dwarf article. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, fucking show them then. Jesus fucking Christ, we're not asking for like the world. We're just asking you to show the models that we know you have prepared.
Yeah, and Games Workshop's like, haha, yeah, get fucked.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that.
It's weird, honestly. It's super, super weird.
Yeah. Good old G-dubs. What more can you say? Yeah, I've never been a fan of the way they choose to build hype and like build up releases because it just
It's
good
a
lord.
shit drip dry.
Yeah.
It's a shit drip dry.
Yeah. Like people get like irritated with like video game companies and it's like, nah, you don't understand. Those of us who deal with GW, they're like, oh man, they announced this game a year ago and we're still waiting. It's like, please.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
It's like Old World got announced in 2019. We still haven't seen a single fucking miniature.
Yeah. Has there been any old world news? No, we already would have made videos about that.
Yeah.
So that's your metric is if you don't see a video on me and Nathan's channel, there hasn't been nothing.
Yeah, and there's literally nothing. All that pops up nowadays is like rumors, and it's like, yeah, some of them could easily have some light to them, but I just don't care about rumors anymore. I just want something official.
Yeah,
Just anything.
Yeah. It's weird that they haven't just been like showing off like sculpts. I don't know, odd. Because like they wouldn't even have to show like they could get away with like a single model and being like, look, this is the style, and everyone would be like, oh, we could talk about this for a while, and they're just like, no,
exactly,
we're not showing you anything. It's just like, all right, jeez.
They don't show us extra map pieces. The last one was because of Cafe, and we already kind of deduced that Cafe was going to be in it anyway. So for us, it's like, just show us anything else. It would just be really helpful to keep the hype up, to keep us, because yeah, we're still excited, but like, holy shit, man, come on, little bit.
I mean, I could have done without them announcing the old world 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah,
3 years ago. Fuck, dude. How's it been 3 years?
And still nothing.
Yeah,
we haven't even seen like a Sigmarite toe or anything. You know?
Like they're just like, oh yeah, we're announcing this way in advance. It's like, how about you don't? How about you wait until it's closer and then tell us about it?
It's just like because like we know they work quick, right? It's very obvious when we see the 40k models that these stuff like they're announcing now. It's like these have been done for a while. It's just like even just some basic stuff. Tease a new rule. Tease a change to an old rule. Show us old rules are staying. Like a small article. You know, like what they did to hype up the Space Marine book. It's always the Space Marine shit. They'll always do 20 million fucking articles on that. So I don't care about the Space Marines anymore. I love Space Marines. I play Space Marines. Just a little bit. Just like a little bit.
Yeah. But oh well. You know, we'll be keeping an eye there. I mean, my copium says there should be something soon, but you know, it's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
But
someone's just said here, it's like, what if the old world got cancelled and they're afraid to tell people? Nah, like the thing is like it's not cancelled. The problem is GW works at a very slow pace, which can be good for GW because when they take their time, good shit actually comes out, you know?
Yeah, but plus like there's like no metric for them to look at that and be like, oh, we should cancel this. Like that just like if it was like something they had released and it just didn't sell well, that'd be one thing, but it's like nothing's released yet. So we're just in the pure like just wait and see zone.
You know what I do find strange though, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. Wouldn't it have been perfect to like cross promote launch with Warhammer 3 and Old World? Like even if it's just a small box, just to get everything going.
Yeah, I mean that definitely would have been smart.
That's the issue.
Yeah. I concur, but here we are.
It's just odd because I feel like if they like it wouldn't have happened with Warhammer 1, but if they would have started it with Warhammer 2 and started the hype there, they would have made a shit ton of money. Come on, man. See fucking the Tomb Kings come out, refresh the Tomb King line, they make a shit ton of fucking money.
Yeah, even if it had just been like these models don't have direct rules in tabletop right now, they're just like cool looking minis.
That would be perfect. Just paint them now. Yeah.
Like if they would have been like, hey, look, Total War's cool, so we're releasing an exclusive limited time reimagining of Such the Imperishable, everyone would have been like, oh, like take my fucking money. But whatever. All right, we can talk about that forever. We got to move on. Okay, so Total War Warhammer 3 news.
Wait, we do need to mention the line refresh just again.
Oh,
The
yes.
Chaos Wars.
So, yeah. So, okay, yeah. Part of the Slaves to Darkness book, which is coming out in December. It's a very big release. It's coming with quite a few new minis. Most notably, we have the new Chaos Knights and the new Chaos Warriors. And we also have some other stuff, but something Nathan pointed out that I absolutely agree with. If you're thinking about getting into Warhammer Fantasy, it would not be a bad time to start picking up minis for certain armies, most notably the Warriors of Chaos, because these are going to be the Warrior Chaos minis.
Yeah, because once December comes, these are likely to leave the range. Now, there's a lot of gorgeous stuff which has been releasing lately, which kind of does fit still on 25 mils, but you can't be 100% sure. Like, I'm looking at the new Chosen stuff, and it's like, oh, that looks like it could fit. But if you want Chosen, if you want Chaos Warriors, if you want them to play Warhammer Fantasy, if you want them for just the basic, start before Old World comes out so you can have something to play as soon as it starts, because they did say in an article that they want us to use our old minis too. Probably now would be a good time. And I know it doesn't sound great, but we have until what, December until this book releases, they said.
I totally misunderstood what Nathan was telling me. Yes, if you want any of the old minis, they're gonna go out of circulation come December, because they're gonna get replaced.
Yeah. So it's just better to be safe than sorry. Because I myself am a massive collector. Well, eventually I'll do a collection reveal, but like it's important. Like a lot of stuff gets gutted, and then if you want to try find minis and specifics, you're gonna have to go on eBay and you're gonna have to pay more.
Yeah, for those asking, the new Warriors and the new Knights they're basically the same ones from the Chaos starter set that had like the updated minis, but they're not mono-posed. They're multi-posed, to my understanding, and they have more like options. So, like if you care about that, then they're worth waiting for.
Yeah, that's the main thing. It's just, I mean, it looks cool. Some of the stuff that's leaked looks nice. There's the new Manticore apparently, and a few other things, but it's just better to let you guys know so you don't feel the pain when you have to do like I do for certain rare minis and crying at the bank account afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, let's talk about some Total War Warhammer 3 goodness. Let's start with the most recent full reveal being Demon Prince Azazel is the champion of Slaanesh. And we've gotten to see kind of some of his we've gotten to see his mechanics. We've gotten to see a lot of his goodies because they actually did a pretty cool Let's Play that was very well edited. It was very cinematic and fun to watch, actually. So Nathan, what are your thoughts on the Champions of Chaos so far?
So I am naturally very, very happy. I know that it's not really a surprise because my boy is finally here. I've been asking for Azazel for years, like even before I started making content. When they announced the series, I was like, oh, it would be so great to see Azazel, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, I did not think we were going to see Azazel, if ever, for a very long time. I was actually pretty surprised when Azazel was revealed.
It's just so interesting that because like I like you thought like, oh, maybe they'll just do like at a certain point I was thinking, oh, if they do like a big DLC like this, they'll probably do a Khorne Lord, a Nurgle Lord, a Tzeentchian Lord, and maybe an Undivided Lord, you know? So I was a bit worried because obviously we already had Sigvald. But hey, it worked out. We've got a big boy here. He's got great looking mechanics. Obviously, a lot of stuff is taken from the Demons of Chaos, Monogod faction, for the Slaaneshi one. But I think that actually works out really well because it synergizes, I guess, if we have all, like, I mean, look here, we got diplomatic relations plus 80 with Empire, Kislev, Cafe Bretonia. I mean, that fits with his lore too, which I think is going to be very, very useful.
Yep, yep.
I quite like this thing about vassals gain immune to psychology and spread corruption. That's going to be quite good.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see the new vassal system. We've gotten some hints and sneak peeks at it where it's like, oh, some factions now give buffs to their vassals. We've heard about in one of their Q&As that some factions get buffed more by having vassals. So like we've heard that Archaon does not buff his vassals, but rather buffs the things he gets from his vassals. And we've also heard that there are new commands essentially for vassals and like allied AI. Like you can tell vassals and AI to occupy ruined settlements, which to me is like, oh, thank God.
Godsend.
Oh, thank
Absolute
God.
godsend.
Yeah, because that shit could get so annoying when you'd have just a ruin just sitting there, and it's like, I don't want to take it, but I want him to take it.
I think it's I think CA, from what they've been showing, I mean it's not a lot now because we've only just been like getting the reveals, but like it shows a lot of promise. I mean, even like that screenshot where you have Azazel flying over with all those Chaos Warriors of Sinesh and all that type of stuff. You know how fucking cool that is? Like for me, I had such a serious chubby throughout the whole reveal. Like it's just so good.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 second. You were totally at full mast. Don't lie. But
it's just so good. Like CA have been listening.
The new Monogod units for the Warriors look so good. I'm so happy to see all of the marked units having completely. I was one of the people that like I would have loved it. I didn't need it. I
needed it.
It's like, did I need every single marked unit to have like a completely unique design and everything?
Yes.
No, but I'm super happy to see it. It looks great, and it's gonna add so much to those factions.
I the moment I saw, because like these I'm looking at that same picture. I think these are the chosen because like they had the warriors in the let's play video. There's just so many things to look around. And it's like that is such a great design because it's still a chaos warrior, but like it's very obviously Sineshi. So it just feels it like the shield on those knights is gorgeous, you know? Like I'm looking at this stuff, it's like I wish we had this stuff on tabletop. I really wish we had this stuff on tabletop.
Yeah, well, and I bet we will. Like, I mean, we have it in AOS. We have like that kind of faction in AOS. So going to fantasy, like, might as well make those a thing. Games Workshop would be stupid not to.
But remember what we said: Games Workshop stupid. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They are awfully dumb.
I think all in all, like they've been listening and they wanted to. Like, let's be honest, it's been a series running for like 5 years now. The fact of the matter is, now that Chaos is getting a rework and it looks as well. Well, from what it reads, it looks and reads well. I guess that's the most important thing because they were the first fucking DLC.
Yep, and everybody hated it. Yep, the fact that it was a DLC before the game came out, which I didn't really care about, but a lot of people did.
I didn't care because I'm used to tabletop. We pay way more.
Yeah, I will say that I'm super glad to see them getting a DLC that takes them truly to a DLC level faction. The original Warrior Chaos DLC was very small. Because it was, I don't want to say tacked on, but it was definitely something that wasn't originally intended to be playable. They've been very, very open about that originally the Warriors of Chaos were not playable in the original intended plan for Warhammer 1. But they kind of got an extra little push at the end. Because I think, if I recall correctly, the original Warrior of Chaos roster was literally just Archaon. Like, Kolek and Sigval were not in it. And Archaon also, there were also a number of units that were not in it. Most notably, the Dragon Ogre and the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, I don't believe were in the original scope. And then they expanded the scope, which gave us the DLC. Which is also why I think Sigval just kind of randomly ended up there. Sigval was such a random addition at that time. I'm glad we got him. I love Sigval. But I do want to go back and say I heavily agree with you that I'm really glad they did one for each god and not 3 gods and then undivided. Like I'm not a fan of the whole like everyone has to have the same amount of legendary lord. Like, that's such a stupid, unrealistic expectation for this game. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
There are going to be factions that have more and less lords than other factions. It's just the way it's going to be.
Exactly. Plus, I got what I was saying months ago. We needed 3 legendary lords, 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
But it's like,
So
it's like, who cares that Slanesh has 1 more than the others? It's just not that big of a deal. Like, I just don't care.
yeah, and the thing that I tell people is like, you can't get angry at that because eventually there's going to be more characters. They're going to milk this fucker for all it's worth. So we're going to get more legendary lords in the future.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, we've got like what, 7 Lizardman lords now, or 8, just a crazy amount. And it's like
7, I think. Yeah.
7, yeah. And it's like, it very realistically could go up to 8 with like Teto Echo. And it's like,
I hope so.
It's like, are there gonna be 8 like Monogod Corn Lords? No. There's gonna be probably like 3 at best. Now, are there gonna be like 12 Warrior of Chaos Lords? Maybe. It's looking that way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It bothers me when people get up in a tizzy about like, oh, there's not enough characters of X. It's like, why don't you just enjoy and like have fun with what we're getting, and then like we'll take a scope at like the end of like further on when a lot more has happened, because like we're still in the baby phases of Warhammer 3.
Yeah. Like, there's going to be loads of stuff. You guys just need to like relax a little bit, because CA will try to make as much money as possible, and they see it on the forums and Reddit when you guys say, "Oh, we want Tamokon, we want this one, we want that one," right? At the end of the day, we just have to wait. Like, we've had what 86 characters?
Yes. And I don't remember, I think this pushes us up to, I can't remember if that's with or without these 4.
With.
Okay, so yeah, we're at 86. Yeah.
There's still a lot, and we did get that quote on Twitter from that Rally Point interview where they said more DLC is going to come out more often.
Yeah.
So it's like, shit, man. And, they've already said that they're already looking at number 100 and all that. So, fuck, man, we could end up with loads of different characters left, right, and center. And I think that's a good thing. We just have to be patient and chill.
Yeah. But back to Azazel. I will say, really, really pleased with his design. They really improved Azazel's look.
Yeah,
like I've seen a fair number of people complaining that his hair is not as prominent of a feature as it should be. Because when you read his like old descriptions, they do focus a lot on like, he has this like super long flowing black hair that's fine as spider silk, yada yada. But I also think that they did a really good job of giving him his own unique appearance. While like, because old Azazel, like, I think like focusing on his hair too much was I don't know, like I feel like hair is kind of more Sigvald's thing, like long flowing locks, right?
Yeah,
it's like you got Sigvald for that, and then if you just want like pure nasty looking demon, you got Nakari, and Azazel kind of needs to hit that like interesting middle ground.
Yes, 100%.
And I think they did a really, really good job with that. Like Azazel is crazy looking, like good but crazy looking.
Yeah, like he looks really good. He I have to move the cat around because he's shedding a lot. Right, go back on the bed. I can't have you on top right now. There you go. Oh god, I need to get the cat shaved.
Shaved?
He sheds an ungodly amount because he's a black cat. So the heat makes him shed, and it's ridiculous. There's cat fur everywhere.
I actually just got Chloe de-shedded at a groomer, and she's so much softer now. It's crazy.
It helps a lot, especially with the heat, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think she feels a lot better, though. I think her appointment was like 4 hours, and because they had to do she had just so much fur. And they, the poor old lady, her hip has been hurting her the last few days because I think she was just standing the entire time. So she just limps everywhere, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, but you needed a bath. I'm sorry. Can I lift Chloe like Nathan lift that cat? No, I cannot. I cannot pick up 100-pound dog over my head. I don't. Plus, she would really not let me.
So
I
at
could.
least your dog is good enough to like stay still whilst they groom. They have to sedate my cats because Ninja, the gray one, like left the groomer with a massive scar on her chest once.
Oh yeah, cats are notoriously just horrible at groomers and vets. But anyway, so yeah, but the new Warriors of Chaos are looking really, really good. I really like the new
Yeah.
gift system where you like get to pick a campaign or army buff that you then have to pay the new souls currency to upkeep. Really, really like that system where it's like you can use it to recruit powerful units or like demonic units, or you can use it to get different kinds of buffs, and you can unlock even more buffs through your tech tree. And the new tech tree for the Warriors of Chaos looks really, really nice.
Yeah. My highlight for the blog is well, first up, the whole thing about the information that we get about the prologue, because the fact that we're going is like we've got like a little bit of info here of the whole Zanbaijin thing. It's like it's such an excellent throwback.
Yeah, Zanbaijin was really cool to see the more Tarmakon goodness showing up.
Mm. It's just great. And then I mean that massive list of warriors is just so pretty, you know?
Yeah, I am super excited to get my grubby paws on those.
It's just so nice of like I've seen some people complaining going, oh, they're just reskinned units. Like, bro, this is what people wanted.
Yeah, except for they're not reskinned units because they have unique assets and they have unique weapons and unique
Yeah.
profiles and unique stats. Like what do you think a reskin is, bro?
No, like I get what they mean because they're basically when they come with these units that are like say for example, if you look at the Chaos Warrior Sinesh with the sword and shield, right, which is on the in the video, it's going to use the same rig and the same baseline animations as the standard Chaos Warriors that we already have. So yeah, that makes sense. But the fact is, people have been asking for this, so that's what they're giving us because we've been literally asking for this.
Yeah,
and we do
they're
have
giving the
some...
community what the community asked for.
Exactly, and I think that works out quite well, especially since I'm finally getting something that I've been asking for on the tabletop for fucking years, which is the Chaos Warriors with Hell Scourges.
Yeah, dude, I bet the modders are so excited. There's gonna be so many new toys for them to play with.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have fucking field days, aren't they?
Do I think the Nurgle Chaos Warriors are gonna look like Putrid Blight Kings? No, I think they're going to be, unique looking, but I'm expecting them to be more like the Vermintide Chaos Warriors, where it's more like really nasty looking armor and like really rusty and stuff, but like they're still, they still look like what you would expect for a Chaos Warrior. If we see Putrid Blight Kings, I would expect that to be like a different, just like a completely different unit. Like that's like monstrous infantry type shit. Like super elite kind of crazy stuff.
If we see Putrid Blight Kings, we're going to see actual Putrid Blight Kings, you know?
Yeah.
And I do expect them in the future, to be honest. I really do.
So okay, how controversial do you want to get this, Lorebeards? Like, do you want to just cruise for this episode, or do you want to touch on a topic that's kind of spicy?
Depends on the spice.
So, do you want to talk about the whole, or do you want to have a discussion about the whole thing people are arguing about as far as like, should these characters have been Warrior of Chaos characters, and should Azazel have been a Warrior of Chaos character?
Oh yeah, we can easily talk about that because I've been having nothing but arguments regarding that lately.
Well, like I said, that is like, do we want to throw ourselves on the landmine, or do we want to step around it today? So okay, what are your thoughts on that whole discussion?
Well, Azazel should have been and is a Warriors of Chaos character for a good reason. He was in the Warriors of Chaos book in 5th. Like, it's just how it works. We know that he would lead demons, yes, but he would also lead a bunch of mortals. Like, at the end of the day...
But Nathan, Wolfric, Throg are in the Warrior of Chaos book.
Yeah. Okay, so with regards to that, right? Wolfric and Frog were moved for what? Some weird reason that they wanted to make Norsca, which I still don't understand why they wanted to make Norsca a race pack. I'll be very honest with you.
I agree, but I'm glad they did. I like
it. I like it. It definitely needs a rework. We obviously have some details in the last blog post that will make them a little bit more enjoyable, but it's the general thing of... Yeah, but like, it's the case that I think that it's a good thing that he is a Warriors of Chaos, because if we want another demon of, because keep in mind that he's a demon prince that is ascended from mortals, so he kind of fits still with the mortals. The thing is, demon princes would be in both, because that's how it worked with the army books. You can get a demon prince in Warriors of Chaos book or in Demons of Chaos book. It's just how it worked. But if we want another demon character, I mean, Azazel is cool for the Warriors. I think that works out well. We can get a demon with, say, for example, the Mask. The Mask is a fucking cool character, you know?
Yeah. And the thing for me is, I think when the only reason I can think of that currently exists to get upset about where these characters end up being placed is if you're playing a numbers game, which I kind of addressed earlier, where you're like, well, I want Monogod or Demon Monogod Slanesh, whatever you want to call it. He's only going to have 2 legendary lords at this point, and you go, okay. Like I don't, if that's how many characters exist for that faction, who cares? Like why do you care if he doesn't have more characters? Like what is it you're really expecting here? And it's like, as far as I've heard some people say, oh well, it's a confederation issue, except none of these characters can confederate anyway, which is the discussion we'll have in a minute. But I've just, for me, it doesn't matter. And I definitely agree with Nathan that it feels much more appropriate for Azazel to be a warrior of chaos, because that's just kind of what I see demon princes as, generally speaking, are warriors of chaos, with the exception of very special individuals like Be'lakor, and now Daniel, because, you know, like, now that we know undivided demon princes are just kind of a common thing again, which is fine, like whatever, it's just an update. Like, you know, those types of individuals leading demonic armies, yeah, cool, that makes sense. But like, generally speaking, like, demon princes tend to be like kind of your ultimate champions who would show up whenever you read about them in stories. They tend to be leading mortal armies, and like, they'd have demonic components, but you usually didn't see them running around full demons, you know. And it's always been kind of weird for me just adjusting to Warhammer, Turbo Warhammer, because I'm still not used to the whole like monogod concept. You know, I'm used to my demons all running around together. I'm used to, you know, having greater demons of all ilks fighting side by side, and like all the shenanigans that come with that, which I don't have now. But so like, they're, you know, it's weird. I don't think anybody's getting a perfect system, but I will say that I think the sooner people can accept that different races are going to have different numbers of legendary lords, and that's okay. You should not be artificially inflating rosters. You shouldn't be going there and being like, we gotta scrape the bottom of the barrel for every possible fucking character so that we can have 8 Slanesh characters. Like, the quality is gonna fucking plummet. Just get the people that should be in there. You know, it's like characters that are important, or characters that have massive fan bases and stuff. Like, you know, when you think like, oh, well, what else could Monogod Slanesh have? Well, personally, to me, it's looking like they're really just going to have demons. The Monogod legendary lords are only going to be demons. And so it's like, okay, the Mask. The end. And that's okay. You know, for Khorne, it's like, oh, we're going to get Skulltaker. The end. You know, Karanax. What?
Kabanda.
God, don't fucking put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Kabanda does not. If Kabanda ever got put in the game, it should only be as a mini game where you play the other legendary lords just beating the shit out of him as he's like laying on the ground. But it's like, you know, with Nurgle, like, okay, Epidemius, cool. And, you know, with Tzeentch, the Blue Scribes, like the Changeling and Karanak, I see more as legendary heroes. Which hopefully, like,
I could see the Changeling as a lord, to be honest.
Really, I feel like he'd be so weird as a lord.
Yeah, but him versus Monkey King would be kind of fun,
I guess. But like, I don't know, I feel like the Changeling is more like an agent, you know, like his whole thing is like running around and doing all these really covert things.
Sure.
But I mean, in the same breath, I would say that about Deathmaster Snitch. Deathmaster Snitch is a legendary lord, so but I don't know. I am personally really, really pleased to see how things are looking. For people that are like worried about like the rosters for Monogod, they've already confirmed that the marked units are going to be in the Monogod rosters. So like if you play Nakari, you're going to have access to all those new Celeste units. So the Monogod rosters just got way more fleshed out.
Yeah. So like I finally got those Chaos Warriors of Sinesh that I wanted, because like my biggest complaint would have been in Warhammer 3 that Sinesh lacked armor to have the anvil for the hammer that I would use to flank my enemies with.
Yeah, and now you've got Chaos Knights and Chaos Warriors and all that jazz. It's like, ooh baby.
Exactly.
You know, a lot of
people...
thing
is
go ahead.
Sorry, carry on. No, go ahead.
You know, I would say like, Nurgle needs more armor piercing. Really lacking the armor piercing department. Now we got great weapons. We got lots of great weapons. You know, Zinch was also needed an anvil, a guardian unit. Now he's got halberds out the wazoo. And Khorne just got more corn. Khorne just got more corn. Khorne didn't really need anything. He just got more.
Yeah, to be fair, Skarbrand was like, to me, the best faction of base game. Like, Skarbrand was just done really well.
Yeah, but like it's gonna be interesting going forward because there are more mono characters to add, but I'm curious to see how they're gonna continue to divide them up. Because like of all of these Slaanesh characters we know of, the only two Slaanesh characters besides the mask that I could see being in mono Slaanesh were Azazel, who's now a Warriors of Chaos character. Because, you know, there is the whole note that, you know, he is a demon prince, so he could theoretically be there, and he is noted for leading demonic legions. So, like, I could see it. It's not what they ended up doing, but I could see it. And then Samael would be the only other one. And Samael is kind of like one of the OG demon princes of Slaanesh.
Yeah, but he didn't really have a model, did he?
No, he never had a model. And, like, a lot of his story is much more important as far... Like, he's an important character from, like, a storytelling perspective. But he doesn't like he was never playable and he never like shows up or anything. And like he's more notable for being T'Kalla's husband than he is and for the one that corrupted T'Kalla in the first place. But like,
and to be fair, we're likely to see her.
Yeah, which like speaking of which, T'Kalla the Denied is, I mean, it's like, oh, she could be Monogod, but at the same time it's like, well, she's not a demon, she's mortal still. And she's very explicitly a Warrior of Chaos character in that she leads a mortal legion that has its own like name and everything. And she's all about her interactions with mortals. So like she'd be very strange. But like on the flip hand, take Egrim von Horseman. Egrim von Horseman is a Warrior of Chaos character who showed up in Warrior of Chaos books and is a mortal riding on a Chaos Dragon, which is very mortally. But Egrim von Horseman's whole thing revolves around cults, revolves around using cultists and manipulating people and installing cults and all that stuff. So like I feel like if you're going to do Egrim, he should have access to the cult mechanic. Which means he should definitely. Which means he would need to be Monogod, or he would need to be a Warrior of Chaos Tzeentch character that has access to that cult mechanic, despite being a Warrior of Chaos character. So I feel like it's just gonna get weird, like in a good way, but it's gonna get weird with future Chaos characters.
Yeah, the thing is, and people need to realize, like when we said that there's going to be like a bit of like we hypothesize it's going to be obviously very skewed on the amount of characters that we'll get for certain races. Warriors of Chaos can easily have like 40 legendary lords, and everyone else could be on like 10. Yeah,
Warriors easily have the most characters besides like the Empire. But
so it's just like we need to be prepared for that, and we need to be accepting of that. The fact is that Warhammer Fantasy introduced a shit ton of characters. It was mostly Chaos because Chaos was one of the best sellers because everyone loved the fucking edgy Chaos style, you know, and they were so varied.
Yeah, I actually so people are asking about a couple characters. I actually just bought this book. It's like my green screen's like whatever. It's the Champions of Chaos book. You can kind of vaguely see it. But it's the 5th edition book a lot of these characters came from. Because a lot of these characters, or some of these characters, never get brought up again after this book. Or like they get brought up in like lore stories, but they were never playable ever again. And so I actually got this book because I was tired of hearing these characters talked about and people asking me about them and not knowing who they were. But like one of the characters I see a lot of people ask about, and I even see some people asking about now, is do you know Amon Chakai? Yeah, like personally, I don't see him coming out.
No.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I've read his story, and the thing about Amon Shakai is he's literally just Kairos Fate Weaver. Before Kairos Fate Weaver, like Kairos Fate Weaver is a reinterpretation of Amon Shakai. In that Amon Shakai's whole thing is that he's omnipotent and that he can see all of time. And he's like insanely powerful. Like he's literally he's like second only to Tzeentch power. But like when you read his story and like what he's known for and capable of, he's basically just a more badass version of Kairos. But I also think that makes him a lot weaker narratively because Amon Shakai literally has 0 weaknesses. He's just a god. He's just God. That's all he is.
It's also important to note to people, it's like greater demons, they're going to be quite hard for them to come up with more greater demons because, like you said, yeah, it's literally just copy pasting, or the fact that, look, if CA decide to make a like Amon Shakai or anyone else, right, any of the greater demons into a character, how could they actually make, say, for example, the character look drastically different from the baseline exalted demons, or even make it so different from the legendary lord? Same thing with like another Keeper of Secrets. I'd love another Keeper of Secrets like legendary character, but it's not going to be as good looking as, say, for example, Nakari, or it's going to look a bit too generic like all the other exalted no-named lord characters, right?
Yeah, well, it's like, a lot of people joke, but like to be clear, like, why are we not going to see Kabanda? Because we have Scarbrand. You know what the difference between Scarbrand and Kabanda is? Very little.
Wings.
Yeah.
With use of wings.
Yeah.
Oh, and a badass tail. Thick tail.
Yeah, I love that he has a tail. I genuinely do love the tail, but like, there's really not a huge difference. Like, and I feel like we could tell their plans just looking at the models they used. Because a lot of people are like, oh, we're gonna see more greater demon characters, and it's like, okay, well, who would you do for Slaanesh? And they go, who's the other notable Keeper of Secrets? And they go, oh, Salaxi Hellbane. Well, you realize Salaxi Hellbane is just the generic exalted Keeper of Secrets. Like it's
a model is literally in game,
exact same model.
Exactly.
Or people say, oh, no, they're gonna use Rodagus Rainfather.
Already in game.
Basically, yeah, it's like, nah, son. Like, there's going to be no more greater demon legendary lords. I would be willing to bet pretty heavily on that.
Like, it would be cool. It would be cool if they could come up with something and have a little bit of freedom like they did with Lady Diathin. But no, give me Skulltaker. Give me Epidemius.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I would rather see a new role filled. Like, why would I want Salaxi Hellbane, the other Keeper of Secrets, when I can have Azazel, who is a flying demon prince that is like has a very unique aesthetic and design, or Dakala, a very heavily mutated serpent woman creature, or Steercar, who is a mounted boob snake fighter warrior.
We need him, like, just for the boobs.
Yeah, like I feel every legendary lord should be filling a role. They should be like representing a unique identity within that race. If 2 characters are the exact same fucking thing, then we just don't need that second character.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people say that they want, because I did have this discussion with people and they're like, oh yeah, it would be cool if we had like a new Bloodfast blah blah blah. I was like, well, Skullbrand's cool. And no, don't get me wrong, I would like Kabanda because he's one of the few named characters that obviously has appeared in Warhammer Fantasy lore. Granted, yes, it was the end times, but he does have a unique look. But if it's my choice between Kabanda or Skulltaker, I want Skulltaker.
Yeah. Okay, so someone asked in chat, do I think we'll see more large DLCs like the Warriors Champion of Chaos DLC, maybe for like the Dwarfs and Vampire counts? So I'm going to say this. I think that it's going to depend on how it sells, which based on how the hype level is going, probably very well. But like CA has already confirmed that we're going to see a mix. Like you're going to see some of the old styles of DLCs. You're going to see some of the new style of DLC. I think it will appear where it makes sense. Like, could Vampire Counts get a Champions of Chaos like DLC? Absolutely. Absolutely. Where it's
funny enough, I talked about that today.
Where it's like, oh, hey, look, we got 4 Legendary Lord slots. Okay, that's 1 for every bloodline. Boom, done. except for von Karstein. Like, leave von Karstein out, but give us
no more fucking von Karsteins.
Yeah, and we get like a shitload of new units. Like, great, that'd be super cool. But like dwarfs, I don't think you could do that for dwarfs, because dwarfs don't have like subdivided culture like that. They're just dwarfs. Like you could argue Norscan dwarfs, I guess, but like that's one subculture that's really not that different from regular dwarfs.
Well, I can give you two. Norscan, Norse dwarfs, right? And get us the fucking proper Slayer army from Storm of Chaos.
Yeah, but that would just to me that would just be like a regular Lord Pack type thing. Like, I don't think you can justify a Champions of Chaos size DLC for that.
I just don't know what CA have against dwarfs, because holy shit, this is what rework number 2 that they've had. Yeah, you just can't seem to get it right.
I mean, I think the dwarves are very, very fun in campaign. Multiplayer, they are hot trash, but that's not their fault. That's just the fault of the way they're designed.
Yeah,
like, I don't really think there's a lot that could be like, until CA gives them like their big toys. Like, until we get like a Thunder Barge or a Shard Dragon or Rune Golems, I don't think they're ever going to be. I don't think they're ever going to be competitive in multiplayer. But the thing, like, I do think that we will see more types of DLCs. But like when you look at like the Warriors of Chaos type, the Champions of Chaos DLC, I think you'll only see that in very specific circumstances. Because there are just not that many races in the game who are like that.
Yeah, like literally what vampire counts, maybe Empire if Old World. That's what I spoke about in my video today. It was like, if Old World does do what we're expecting, and that's just like dividing the Imperial provinces to represent the massive fucking civil war that it was. Like, that could be worked well if GW are keen enough and smart enough. That's a big fucking thing. Holy crap, are they stupid sometimes? To allow for cross promotion, that would work out really well.
Yeah,
you know,
they could do something like that. Yes. Okay, we gotta move on. We're rambling at this point. We gotta. Okay, so this week, very exciting stuff. They basically revealed Festus the Leech Lord. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I love Dr. Festus. He's one of my favorite characters in Warhammer Fantasy. His story is so good, and I cannot wait to see him. I want to see him.
What I find funny is that they're not even trying to hide the characters in.
Why would they?
In the teasers.
They revealed them all 2 weeks ago. Whatever it was.
I thought that was funny. My God. But Festus should be big hype. Like, I like the miniature. I like his lore. I think that he's like, you know, those Chaos Warriors, just like Festus, where they have that tragic fall. It makes them much more likable, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Dr. Festus's story is so compelling because he's a tragedy. It's a tragic character. The other three he's coming with are not. Well, you could maybe argue that Azazel's a tragedy if you get into the really nitty-gritty details of it.
But like, if you read the Heldenhammer book, you do feel bad for him sometimes.
Yeah, there are tragic elements to his story. But like the other two that have basically been revealed because they're factions, there's nothing tragic about them.
No, at all.
They're both tremendous. Like, they're cool characters, but they're huge dicks.
Yeah.
They're both just like the worst. But they're epic. But yeah, super excited for Festus stuff. Knowing CA reveal will probably be on Tuesday. So that'll be really, really hype. We'll definitely both be covering that. And where's Festus going to go? I'll bet you $200 he'll be in the Brass Keep. Because the Brass Keep, we know the Brass Keep is its own province. We know that it can be a Chaos Fortress. And we know that in the end times, it was revealed that the Brass Keep was controlled by Nurgle forces. So, like, and it's right next to Nordland. And where is Dr. Festus a native? Nordland.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. I'm cool wherever he goes. What was a bit weird to me is like the whole Azazel starting in Norsca, because everyone knows how I feel about that fucking territory. So as long as no other lord starts in Norsca, I'll be happy, because holy shit, do I hate that country.
I mean, you can just leave immediately, but I mean, it sounds like Norsca is going to be a very, very useful forward base for Warrior of Chaos campaigns, because it is it is full of Chaos Fortresses.
Yeah. You can just dominate all the factions there and shit. It's just more of the case of like, just don't like that area. There's too many mountains.
Yeah. Antarctica seems empty. What are our thoughts? I mean, it is. I suspect it will get filled up more as the game progresses. I heavily expect that one of the lesser demon legendary lords will be put in Antarctica. So like,
Oh, the Seven Ways. I was like, what, Antarctica? What?
yeah, sorry, Southern Chaos Ways. So like, Blue Scribes, Mask. I really could see the Mask down there. That seems like a good you've been banished to exile location.
Yeah.
Or Skull Taker, Epidemius, any of those guys would fit perfectly fine down there fighting against Oxyotl.
I'm still hoping for maybe if they want to have fun and do another Beastmen rework and we get some God touched Beastmen. Like that would be a good place because that's where all the Beast Fiends are, man.
Yep. Okay. Real quick. So they revealed that a number of races have received some substantial reworks and changes. Most notably, the Dark Elves, Lizardmen, Vampire Counts, and Norska. I don't think we actually have enough time today to get into all the nitty gritty of that. But Nathan, which one was the most exciting in your opinion? Which changes are you the most hyped about?
Honestly, Norska, because they've been in a shit place too. So the fact it's like they even say, look, it's not a rework, but it's an update. It's like, oh, that's fucking good. At least they're doing some stuff, and we know that we can get some cool shit. Like obviously we've got Purple Smirk Spewpit. What a lovely name.
That is such an obvious like call to the Vermintide 2 boss.
Yeah,
because their names are so similar.
it's just nice that we're getting a nice little update to Norska in general. And being able to conquer everything and all that, it'll definitely make the campaign feel a bit less of a oh my fucking god, I don't want to do this, type of thing.
Yeah, being able to take over any settlement is going to make Norska so much better in so many ways. Also, yeah, the new rewards are really, really cool, where it's like, you get an Exalted Great Unclean One instead of a very, very bizarre plague. And you get Kilgore Slay Maim, which like, wow, that's a name for Khorne. Yeah, it's looking good. Obviously, like Nathan said, we've been informed that it's not their rework, so to speak. It's just a making sure they still have a heartbeat kind of update.
Yeah, which was needed considering because we've seen how powerful like the demon factions are and Kislev, so like they needed to survive a little bit. Hopefully, this gives it a reason for people to play Norska. Like it'll still be one of the lowest on my list to play, but you never know.
Yeah. As a Lizardman player, I am super fucking excited about the Lizardman changes. They look really, really cool. I cannot wait to get my hands on those campaigns. Tehenowin actually looks like a finished campaign now, which is such a relief. And they've mentioned the Geomantic Web has been improved a little bit, but it's going to receive even more changes in the future. And God, I'm so excited. So excited.
I'm a bit curious though, because when they talk about the skinks, they forget about Tic-Tac-Toe.
Well, I don't think Tic-Tac-Toe needed any changes. Tic-Tac-Toe is insanely strong. He is so fucking strong. Like, the character himself is kind of but like, his pterodons are basically, you get like an entire army's worth of the Pahawk Sentinel Regiment of Renown. They get 2 drop rocks, and one of their drop rocks is like god tier, and the other one's normal. But like, regular pterodons drop armor sundering high damage boulders, and the fire leech bolas drop fucking like oil drums that make you flammable. Like, they're fucking nuts.
It'd just be nice if he had like a little bit of change to his character, make him a bit more,
No, I don't know. I think he's great.
I don't know. I find him a bit too boring.
Yeah, like he's very pigeonholed, or flanderized. Like, he has a very specific function, which is that he makes Lizardman flying units really fucking scary, and that's it. That's what he does.
Yeah.
But like, I would say that if there's one thing I would have loved to have changed about Oxyotl, I really wish that Zlak was a Ripperdactyl, not a Pterodon. But unfortunately, that's just the way Games Workshop designed him, which was so fucking dumb. I don't understand why they did that. Zwup Zwup should have just been a goddamn Ripperdactyl. It would have been so much. It would have made so much more sense. But I digress.
Yeah.
Okay. That being said, we have been going for a while now. We are over time. So unfortunately, all of my dear lovelies in chat, we're gonna have to call it, I think. Wait, Hyos, are you still in here? Hold on a second. Oh, bro. Looking on Twitter, that fucking the new Sauron for the show. What?
Oh, it's been debunked. It's been debunked. Apparently, it's just all the news outlets thought that was Sauron, and I got a bit worried because
oh, okay, so that's not real.
No, it's a cultist. It's a cultist of Melkor or something.
Thank God, dude! Like, if that had been Sauron,
he just looks like an edgy teenager, right?
No offense to that guy. I'm sure he's a great guy. That is not what Sauron looks like.
Yeah, like you expect Sauron to be like beautiful.
Yeah, Hyos, remind me what time we start at. Is it in 30 minutes or is it an hour and 30 minutes? I'm forgetting. Because if it's in 30 minutes, then I need to make sure that we wrap up like right now. Because I gotta go get lunch. But if we have like an hour and 30 minutes, then we could talk a little more. He looks like Eminem. Yeah, he does.
I thought it was just like bad Machine Gun Kelly. It's like, holy shit, that's saying something.
Oh, we don't start till then? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, no, we got a little bit more time. I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
Actually, let's look at the blogs because it's just so many.
Chat. If anybody in chat wants us to talk about something, now's your time. Now is your moment.
Whilst we're waiting for that, I'm a little bit disappointed with Morathi.
What?
Yeah, because it's like she can get demonettes, and it's like, oh, that's fucking cool. But I want the Cult of Pleasure from thingy. You know, I want Chaos Warriors. I want a proper side faction where I can just
you can though through the allegiance system. It's just
but I want to be able to recruit
roster.
them. I don't want a poxy ally. I just want to murder fuck everyone with Sinesh.
I mean, the play Slanesh. I don't
no,
understand
why
Morathi has to be part of this equation.
Sexy MILF Dark Elf, come on.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's good to keep like the mixed factions that are like completely different races to keep it like kind of tame, and then you could use the allegiance system if you want like some of the big hitters. Just because like Dark Elves with regular Chaos Warriors in their rosters sounds fucking awful to play against. Like the AI having that, though. I would not want to deal with that if I'm playing a Mazda Mundi campaign.
It just sounds so fun. It just honestly sounds so fun.
Yeah, sure, but so does fucking Archon the Black with like the entire Vampire Count roster.
Oh, someone's just asking if we think that the named characters will turn into demon princes and princess. No, they. Oh, do you mean the standard lords? If you mean the standard lords, yeah, it's been confirmed that the lord choices can ascend to demon prince.
No, if he said named characters, I bet he means like the actual legendary lords. No, they're not going to change. They don't.
Yeah.
With the exception of Daniel, I don't think you'll ever see such thing as a evolving legendary lord.
Yeah, no, but I think he means. Do you think that lords that should change along with the campaign, like character? No, the characters. No, the characters. No, the characters have to stay the same, or else GW would get really angry.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, they literally cannot come out and be like, "Oh, look, Valkia has ascended to demonhood, and now she has a brand new appearance. Great job." A, that would be basically making two characters for one, which seems weird. And B, Games Workshop would shoot that down from 1,000 miles away.
Yeah. The only one I would imagine is like I could be able to do that is like maybe Nagash, like the mod has done, where you start off as the husk and then you like turn into the end times version.
Yeah. I need to play that mod.
It's pretty fun.
I've heard it's very good. I need to make some time for that. How do we think the Boris versus Archaon campaign will play out? I think it's going to be much harder for Boris than it is for Archaon. Because with Boris, like, you are not in friendly territory. So I think it'll be super fun though. Like, you tell you what, if Turin was going to fight somebody in a versus head-to-head campaign, like me or Professor Pone or someone, like, just because Turin tends to be so much better than us at the game, I would highly recommend letting whoever turn is playing against have Archaon and he play Boris. That seems like a much more fair matchup.
It'd be a very short campaign, though.
Let's see. Codal animations and the Sotek army ability were just the worst. I mean, the Codal animation was very obviously just like a test drive for the Cathayan dragons. So hopefully it's received some improvements. But also the Sotek army ability, so like the giant serpent, it was pretty bad. That being said, I think it'll be much better even without great changes in the new game, because the sieges are gone. So like you're not fighting against walls nearly as often, which is where that ability really sucked ass, because the AI would just hang out on the walls, so you couldn't do anything about it. Now like towns and stuff are all these like really narrow lanes and streets, which the ability actually might be kind of good at, because it hits like a truck so long as it hits like infantry and cavalry. That being said, I do hope it's been buffed. One of my recommendations to buff that ability has been that so we know there's like the Sotek's Venom passive that the Arc of Sotek does, which is a like kind of a damage over time effect. And what I would really like to see is when you do the Invocation of Sotek ability or sacrifice, not only does it give you that wind ability, but it should also give either Tehenowin's army or all of your armies faction wide for 5 turns the Sotek's Venom on their melee attacks. That would be strong as fuck, but like, you know, it's a high tier sacrifice, so I think that'd be fair, because it would basically mean that all of their units would do damage over time in melee. Or maybe it could be like skinks only, like all skink units get damage over time in melee. It would be very, very strong, but I would be totally fine with that. Also, now that they've introduced that immunity to contact effects is a thing, CA, for the love of God, Tehenowin, Scrag the Slaughterer, Red-Crested Skink Lords, Ogres, Butchers, and Slaughtermasters, they all need to have immune to contact effects. That's literally in their tabletop rules. Get on it, boys. Yeah. Get on it. Why does Gorok have that? And not Tehenowin? What the fuck is going on over there? Talk about a mismatch. Like, don't get me wrong, Gorok's tough, but like, come on. That's like... Let's give the characters that have immunity of poison immunity to poison.
Yeah.
Do I think the new Monkey King will be added with Immortal Empire? What? Do I think the new Monkey King lore added with the new build indicates Cathay being the first order DLC? No, because the amount of new loading screen quotes we got is fucking insane. I don't know if you've talked about it on your channel very much. I have not.
I've talked about some that have been coming out in the woodwork, and what I tell people is like, look, it's not going to be the next DLC, because I doubt it. It's like it doesn't make sense for Cafe to be the next one just yet. But what I do realize is like this is them just trying to hype stuff up, which obviously does make sense. So I feel like we'll probably see Monkey King, but like. Well, next DLC after this, we're expecting Chaos Dwarfs, right?
Yeah, I'm expecting a race pack after this, not a Lord pack.
Yeah, so sometime maybe next year it would make sense. I don't know, maybe Kislev could be first, because Kislev at the moment does need a little bit of help.
Yeah, I could see the same being said for Cathay. I think it depends on how you look at the faction.
Yeah. So, like, for all we know, they could just decide not to. Like, one thing I'd really love them to do is DLC between Game 1 and Game 2 factions, or, you know, just, like, fill out those ones that might need just a little bit of a go and done, or Game 3 and Game 2, where maybe it's a Monogod Demon faction versus a Order faction from Game 1 or Game 2. It depends. Like, they could do anything.
Yeah, also, like, the Monkey King's gonna be interesting. Because, like, a lot of people, like, want him versus Li Dao, but it's like, that would be a Cathay versus Cathay DLC, which does not make a lick of sense.
Yeah.
Or, like, his other big rivalry is with End. So it's like, okay, maybe they, like, do End DLC at some point, and, like, the Monkey King is the free DLC that comes with it. But, like, it would depend on, like, how expansive are the Monkey Warriors. Like, are the Monkey Warriors just a single unit? Like, is it like there are Monkey Warriors, period, end of story? Or is it like, no, there are
a Monkey Legion?
Yeah, are there like gorilla shock troops and baboon frenzied melee units, and like are there different kinds of monkeys that wield different kinds of weapons? Is there a character? Like, do they have heroes and lords, or is it just monkey warrior unit and monkey king? Like, I have no fucking idea, because we don't know that much about them. We've only heard it referred to as monkey warriors, but that could mean a lot of things.
Well, they did mention in one of the loading screens, they do talk about the Monkey King. It's a Zinchian thing, but like he's represented as an orangutan, as a chimpanzee, and stuff like that. So he's referenced as 4 different types of monkeys.
Yeah, but we know that's
so
propaganda, though. So like,
yeah, no, but it could literally be that. It could be the fact that there's a lot of monkeys.
Yeah, I mean, I do hope there is more than just one. Because I don't know, it'd just be cool. Like, monkeys are like a weirdly unutilized species in Warhammer Fantasy. So like seeing a bunch of different types of apes come running out and be like, would be cool.
If it's not like got loads of fucking Planet of the Ape references in the trailer, though, I'll be really pissed off.
it's just the Monkey King versus someone, and like he grabs the unit. Someone's like, "Get your hands off him, you damn dirty ape!"
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
That might be a little too on the nose, but it
would be perfect.
It would be funny to see something referencing that.
Because every trailer they do. I mean, like for example, what was it? The Silence of the Fury. Wasn't that like I can't remember which one that was. I know that the Ica Claw one was referencing Predator a lot.
Yeah, it was almost shot for shot taken from Predator.
Yeah.
There a couple of them are movie references. The Warden and the Paunch is literally just Batman. It's the second Batman movie versus Mad Max Fury Road.
Mm-hmm.
But like then we got like Silence. I don't think Silence and the Fury references any movies.
It did. I remember talking to someone about it, but I just can't remember what it was.
Oh yeah, I don't know. But like Twisted in the Twilight did not have any references. Though the music was very Stranger Things, which was weird. Like I love all the trailer soundtracks, but the Twisted in the Twilight soundtrack or music is so bizarre compared to like every single other piece of music they've ever put out.
Yeah.
Silence in the Fury was Dirty Dancing. I don't believe that.
Yes.
Wait, it was?
Wasn't it? Yeah, there was a reference to that somewhere. Yeah, it was. I remember there was. Oh God. Oh wait, let me try and Google it. There was a fucking Dirty Dancing reference.
Oh, okay. No. Chat saying no. That was Shadow and the Blade.
Was it Shadow and the Blade?
I mean.
Yes. Yeah. Fair.
All right. I guess I'll just take y'all's word for it.
I love the.
Apes together. Strong.
Yeah. Because in the Shadow and the Blade, you could put the Dirty Dancing music on it, and it followed it scene for scene.
Oh.
It was so fucking well done, because I think those types of things are just like, you can tell the devs are having a shit ton of fun with it, and it's like, I'm all for it, man.
Yeah. Hunter the Beast was absolutely Jurassic Park. Yeah, it's literally the car chase scene from the first Jurassic Park movie. Though, fun fact, I don't think they're all there anymore, but the dudes in the wagon that are just like yelling random shit as they're being chased by the Dread Saurian is not actually the voice actors for like the typical Empire soldiers. It's literally just like some of the devs.
No, that's cool.
And I think Wheels was one of them back when he was there.
Yeah.
But
nice.
Yeah, just that was a goofy thing. They just put him in a sound booth and were like, "We need y'all to just like yell random shit like you're being chased by a big dinosaur." And they were like, "All right."
That's so fucking cool.
But yeah, oh man. Vampire Coast was very Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, well, I mean, Vampire Coast literally opens with Jack Sparrow's motif, which was a very, very clever music pull. Especially because Luther Harkin is very heavily based on Jack Sparrow. Which I'm so, dude, watching Luther Harkin come to life was so fun. Like he's such a big character in fantasy that we just didn't really get to see that much of, like from a like we didn't really get to see like him talk very much or like really get to know him as a character very well. So seeing him come to life was super duper fun.
anytime he popped up in lore, I just felt bad for Dracula, to be honest, man. Like,
Yeah.
how loyal do you have to be? Fuck.
Dracula's gotta like be secretly in love with him. That's the only explanation.
Oh, dude, during the end times when they're fighting outside the fucking tavern and those plague bearers are coming and Dracula's just doing everything whilst he's picking up flowers, it's like, holy shit, man, why? I just let him die.
Yeah, Dracula definitely puts up with too much shit. For anyone confused, Dracula is Luther Harkin's first mate. And when you play a Luther Harkin campaign, he actually is your starting follower.
Yeah. It's just so amazing when you get those types of things because the lore is so silly for the for it. It's just like leave him to die for fuck's sake.
No, there must always be a captain. But
the only redeeming parts about the end times, I think, was the whole Luther Harkin story. Jesus
it was so
Christ.
sad how he died. Like,
yeah,
he went out fucking Manfred. Manfred, so many backstabs, but I mean,
bastard.
it
Absolute
just
bastard.
it just can't be Manfred unless he's backstabbing people.
That's very true.
Even though it does break our hearts, it breaks our hearts so very much. So okay, I'm curious about this for chat. And let's do a poll and poll your chat as well because I'm curious. So which Warhammer 3 faction are y'all the most excited to get a DLC or get new content? Doesn't even have to be a DLC, just new content. Cathay, Ogres, or Kislev? So like, are you like, man, I really want the Monkey King or Shihong or Li Dao, or are you one of those people that are like, no, I want the Golden Knight, or I want the Baba Yaga, Mother Ostenkia, or are you like, no, I want the Rhinox riding ogre character, I want Goldfag Maneater. Like, I'm curious what team everyone's on as far as that's concerned. Don't say Chaos Dwarfs, because they're gonna be their own thing, and we know they're next.
I fucking tweeted it, man. If I had a pound
next.
anytime, I literally tweeted this afternoon. If someone gave me a pound every time someone said Chaos Dwarfs went on my videos, I'd be fucking rich, man.
I know. I won't even need ad revenue. Just Chaos Dwarfs.
It's insane. It's like they're coming. It's like when? It's like I don't know when CA decide to.
We'll get here when we get here. Yeah. It's like, dude, they're Chaos Dwarfs. They take their time. Like they slowly built up an empire over like 4,000 or 5,000 years. Like they ease into it. They're not in a hurry. But when they get here, it's gonna be big. You don't like any present Total War 3 factions? Oh, that must be a bummer. I bet you're very excited for Immortal Empires then, dudes. It's the 24th. There is less than a month until Immortal Empires. Less than 30 days. Oh, baby.
Okay. Just hope it's done. I can't wait to play. I want to play and I just want to relax, you know, just have a nice cup of tea and destroy the world, you know.
Have you settled on your first campaign yet?
Oh, Azazel.
Nice.
It's like no question about it.
Are you gonna do Immortal Empires with him first, or are you gonna do Realm of Chaos first?
I kind of want to see the story for Realm of Chaos, to be honest. I'm really curious about that.
I do love that it takes place after the main game.
Yeah, and the fact that we actually have a canon ending.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like, I don't think we've ever had any canon stuff confirmed for the previous two games, have we?
Not really, no. Chat, go vote in the poll, by the way. Go vote. It's almost over.
Yeah, put the poll up too.
Yeah, no, they've always been kind of wishy-washy. Like I feel very confident that the timeline goes Warhammer 2, Warhammer 3, then Warhammer 1. But like we've never gotten any specific details.
No, Andy did confirm it was 3, 2, 1.
See, he says that, but I disagree with him. I think it's 2, 3, 1. Because there are way too many things in Warhammer 2 that talk about like, oh, the vortex is being weakened in almost all the epilogues, and with Nakari being like, oh, Nakari's finally making his move. And then in Warhammer 3, like there are demons everywhere, which would make a lot of sense if the vortex had been jacked with.
Yeah,
and
true,
then
true.
it leads into, and plus the advisor's nowhere to be seen in Warhammer 2. So like Warhammer 2,
Oh
like
yeah.
it's like, where is he? It's like, well, he hasn't gotten involved yet. He hasn't been corrupted yet. All right, so my chat, 64% of people want a Grand Cathay piece of content first. 20% went ogres, and 16% went Kislev. Wow, I'm surprised Kislev was that low. I'm actually
I've
super
got.
excited for Kislev.
Oh wow, 67% for cafe.
Oh wow.
Nothing for ogres.
Nothing?
And yeah, mostly. I think everyone's just excited because they've got we've got so many known characters for cafe
Yeah.
that we just haven't seen yet. So everyone's like, oh, I want to see Yin Yin, oh, I want to see Li Dao, I want to see uh I don't know, anything really. And I think that's good. I think that's good. I think that is it's like it's nice to see so many people about cafe. Hopefully if we do get Ind and Koresh, people will be excited about them too. Because
You
new
know people are gonna come out of the woodwork for that shit. Like
yeah,
that's practically like, I mean, it's basically like Cathay being released all over again. It's like a
yeah.
faction that we never in a billion years thought would be playable is gonna be playable. That's gonna be wild.
Yeah, like it's definitely something that I'm excited for in general. I can't wait to see Yin Yin. I'm curious about her. Because I don't know, like it makes sense for her to start in Lustria because obviously, um, try rectify the failure.
Mm.
But maybe if we do get Nippon in the future through map expansion, maybe it could be cool to have her like fighting against Nippon. Because I don't know, like I had this idea, but people said, "Oh, that's stupid." It's like I think we won't see her until Nippon gets added in, because she'll be if FLC gets added into Lustria, and then the Nipponese are going, "Well, the Sea Dragon's gone. Now it's our time to invade Cathay."
I could see it.
Be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
I could definitely see that.
I like the idea. I mean, people just get like, "Oh, because it doesn't fit." It's like, oh, it's Warhammer. Nothing fucking makes sense.
Yeah, it does it doesn't fit. That's so stupid.
Yeah. So
the,
fucking hell.
the faction that we didn't have any lore on prior to this doesn't fit. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
It's like, geez, it's like, this is a universe where we have talking goats, right? Like, everything can fit if you try hard enough.
Yeah, Warhammer Fantasy is the literary embodiment of anything can fit if you're brave enough.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see more, and we just have to wait. We have to be patient. That's the most important thing.
What faction am I gonna play first in IE? Probably Tehenwin. But I'm actually running a poll on my Discord. If y'all want to check that out, !Discord, where it's a community poll, and people are basically voting on their favorite legendary lords, and the characters that get the least amount of votes every day have been slowly but surely eliminated. And when the poll ends, whoever the last character standing is the first character I'm going to do a full playthrough of Immortal Empires with.
Nice. See, I wouldn't even give people that option. I'm just Azazel.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you guys. I've been waiting for fucking years for this. I'm sorry. I have Soneshi Warriors. Soneshi Warriors.
They look
Oh,
good,
yeah, how
dude.
long I've wanted that, man.
They look
It's
so
not
good.
like, yeah, they look cool. That's the most important thing.
I can't wait. I
I'm
can't wait to
really
see the Nurgle
curious.
Warriors. I really want to see Nurgle.
Yeah, like I want to see them all. I want a better shot because we got it in the screenshot. I think I don't know if we got any footage on it because we did get a nice, really cool shot of the. It doesn't even have it a lot. Yeah, here it is. A little bit of the War Shrine, and we did see a little bit in the Azazel trailer too.
Hmm.
It's like I'm so curious about the War Shrine because like it's one of my legit favorite units on the tabletop because you used to bring that to have an extra chance at your champions becoming demon princes. So it's like, oh, that's fucking cool. I can't wait to see them. And I always mention them in missing unit videos. It's like War Shrine would be nice.
And we get 5 versions of it too, which is great.
Yeah, they've gone full hand, and I'm really happy about that. I'm
Yeah,
really, really
literally,
happy.
funny enough, the only unit in the Warriors of Chaos roster that could take marks in tabletop that you cannot take marks on is the Chaos Giant. That's the only one. Granted, there is a Nurgle Giant, but he's a Regiment of Renown. But like, that's it. What does the War Shrine do in tabletop? So the War Shrine, it was a pretty good beat stick. It was very, very tanky. But what it did is there was a system called Eye of the Gods, where whenever one of your characters won a challenge, killed a character, or killed a monster, you could roll in the Eye of the Gods table, which would give you some buffs. And what War Shrines would do, it was a very strong table. Though if you rolled a 2, you would turn into a Chaos Spawn, which was a huge bummer. But if you rolled a 12, you turn into a Demon Prince. So, what the Eye of the Gods or the War Shrine would do is it had a bound spell to it, where it could pick a character within range and just immediately let them roll in the Eye of the Gods, which was super strong.
Yeah. It was just really, really good. And I mean, it's just a cool model in general. Sometimes rule of cool is the most important thing, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, the rule of cool is the most important thing. Like, fuck balance, fuck all that stuff. Cool stuff, please.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm very, very pleased with how things are going. Things are looking very, very promising. I'm glad to see that the hype is at very high levels. We're rapidly approaching release for this. And, of course, before release, there will probably be a few weeks of early access from like content developers and stuff, so that'll be really cool, and hopefully get people even more hyped, get it to where you're all frothing at the mouth, and then we'll let loose the dogs of war in sadly not those dogs of war, but the Shakespearean kind in
I miss you, Dogbert. I miss you so much.
fucking Dogbert, dude. I ever tell you I ran into him when I went to I went and saw him when I went to Scotland last year?
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
nice.
I went and met up with him in oh god, what city was that? It's a British city that's really close to Scotland. Shit, I'm having such a brain fart right now. It's a major city. Someone in chat, I'm sure will guess it. But in any event, I met him in the city he lived in, and we had a really good time. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool, man. That's fucking cool.
What happened to him? He just pursued a different job opportunity.
Yeah, he's still in video games. Because I see him post every now and then regarding
Stonehenge is not a city, to my knowledge. Newcastle, yes, it was Newcastle. Thank you.
It's yeah, he's a cool dude, man. He's a really, really cool dude.
He was a lot of fun. I really miss doing the Ever Chosen tournaments, because we'd always we'd go over there, and he was kind of one of 2 people that was responsible for manhandling us and make sure we didn't blow stuff up, and it was always a lot of fun.
That's something I was actually talking to another creator about recently. It's like I really hope in the future, obviously when it's safe for everyone and all that type of stuff, for an in-person event with all the creators.
Oh yeah, that would be so fun. We haven't done that forever. Fucking COVID.
Yeah, it's been 2 years of shit.
Yep.
Let's hope for the best.
Which new models could dwarfs have in the old world? I mean, anything that they have in their Total War roster is totally viable.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
I'm imagining that it's just going to be a copy paste of the Total War roster.
The only thing I think they've really gotten that's new is like Bugman's Rangers. Everything else they already had, right?
Couldn't Bugman kind of make them into Bugman's Rangers? Very similar to how
he could, yeah, that's true. He could upgrade a unit into Bugman's Rangers, but they weren't like a standalone unit.
Yeah.
Can't think of anything else. I think everything else is literally just from the Dwarf Army book.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, there's obviously the Thunder Barge, which was in the rulebook, and
well, yeah, but
Dragon and stuff.
That's not in Total War yet.
Yeah, not yet. Hopefully soon. Hopefully, you never know. Maybe they just don't want to do it. Maybe it's like can't be bothered.
They're like, fucking dwarfs.
Yeah.
Getting drunk is an upgrade. Listen, when it's good enough, yeah, it is. I say as someone that's never been drunk.
Never?
No, I don't drink.
Oh.
But so to
I
me,
like a good cider and a whiskey every now and then.
Mm-hmm. Demon Slayer heroes? No, dude. Demon Slayer Lord, Dragon Slayer hero. That's what you meant to say.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be good.
Listen, if fucking Clan Eshin assassins can be lords, so can slayers. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. Because like those were so weird that they just basically got the Mordheim list and turned it into units.
Mm. Yeah, but I mean, oh god, I want the Slayer Throng so bad from Storm of Chaos. It's such a cool army. The Goblin Hewer and the Doom Seekers. Doom Seekers would be so good too. Like just a unit just flailing axe chains around.
That'd be fucking fun. It would definitely be fucking fun.
Like I don't know. They gave us Ungrim, but they didn't give us nearly enough Ungrim toys.
It's I guess they're just waiting. Eventually, everything is there because I know that they listen to our videos and they see people like they see people asking on the forums and stuff. So
the poor bastards, yeah, they do.
So like if they know the units they're missing because nobody's going to let them forget.
Yeah, hell, people invent units on a regular basis. They're like, y'all should totally do this, and they're like, yeah, great, more work. But yeah, God, I'm so ready for Immortal Empires to come out because I feel like that's gonna be like that's really the start of a new era, and it's gonna be just so exciting. And then, but it's gonna be so fucking busy too, man. Because like it's like, oh fuck yeah, great, we get Immortal Empires, and it's like what 4 weeks later we get fucking Darktide, like almost immediately afterwards, and it's like, oh no, oh no. I think there's a bunch of other big games coming out in September too.
Yeah. One thing to get into Total War, should I get 2 or 3? The thing is, if you can get a good deal, I'd say get them all because at the end of the day, 1, 2, and 3 combine to Immortal Empires, and that's going to be like the experience that everyone's been waiting for. And there's some good sites which have it discounted and so on. It's just one of those things. It's honestly just one of those things. If you can get it cheap, that's probably the best thing that you can do.
Yeah, get it on discount. Like I would not buy any of the old stuff full price because it's very rarely, or it's so often on discount. You don't even have to wait that long. So don't hurt yourself.
Plus the fact that it's all 3 games combined, if you have the 3 of them, it adds to a lot, you know?
Yeah, I think you only need one of the other ones in order to access Immortal Empires.
You need all 3.
Oh, you need all 3? Ooh, yikes. Okay, yeah. But yeah, definitely get those on sale. And get them all on the same platform. Don't be a goof and be like, oh, I got 1 on Epic and 2 on Steam. Like, don't do that to yourself.
Before we call it a day, because I do have to go, someone did actually ask a really good question, and I want to see your thoughts. Have you been keeping up with the Rogue Trader stuff? It looks so fucking cool, man.
The video game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am deliberately staying blind on it so I could just go into it not knowing what to expect.
They're giving like no big info dumps. It's mostly just like
that studio makes great fucking games.
Yeah. They make fucking great fucking games, but like I shit you not, when I saw it was what was it? They did a blog?
Have they revealed what the playable races are for like your starting character?
I don't think they gave everything, but I think you're mostly playing as a Imperial at the beginning, I think.
Because I'm pretty sure in the artwork they showed, there's an Eldar character.
Yeah.
Maybe your character has to be an Imperial, since you're like the child of a whatever person.
But they did this dev diary, and I was looking at it because it was a nice little video interview. And I was like, holy shit, this sounds so fucking awesome. And then I got really pissed off that it's not a Warhammer Fantasy game.
I know, dude. The moment I saw Rogue Trader, I was like, oh, that would have been so much better as a fantasy game. Like, yeah, I guess, but it would have been so much cooler as a fantasy game. I fucking hate when 40K gets something before we do. Because it's just not as cool, man. It's just not as cool.
Yeah, but like, it looks so good. And like, because I played their other game. Oh god, now I'm having a little bit of a blank.
They have quite a few other games.
Yeah, the thing is, Owlcat is a very good developer. They are really fucking good.
So for anyone that's ever heard of Owlcat Studios, they make CRPGs, which is like, I believe it stood for, I forget what the C stands for, but it was like custom RPG or character RPG or something. But basically, it's like very nitty.
Pathfinder's the game.
yeah, it's very nitty gritty stuff. Like
Mm.
Owlcat games are notorious for being very difficult. But like in classic, thank you. That's right. It stands for classic RPG. They're like very nitty gritty games. They have like a lot of really fine details and a lot of like you really need to know what you're doing if you're playing on normal.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend checking out their games. But they have a 40K game that they're making now called Rogue Trader, and it looks fucking phenomenal.
Mm. Like I'm I generally I it's like it's hard for me to get excited about certain things sometimes, but I was like, holy shit, this is
They have
wow, you know?
Nathan. They have a blue pill for that now.
Yeah, I know. No, it's more the case of like until I see proper gameplay, I can't get excited, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like even just looking at those things, I was like, holy crap, this just sounds fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm gonna play it. I'm probably gonna enjoy it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would love if the game does well. I hope they make a fantasy version, because like there's so much fun shit you could do in a fantasy game.
Yeah. It's like it's just like sounds so fucking cool.
But I think that's enough.
Yeah.
I gotta get lunch. Nathan's gotta get going too. We all got stuff to do. So
Yeah.
thank you all so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Lorebeards. We hope you all had a great time. Nathan, any closing thoughts?
I'm sweating like hell because it's 34 degrees and I just want summer to go. That's my fault.
There you go. Thank you for that.
I hate summer so much.
Yeah, me too. I'm not a summer person. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.